Magic more than Yu-Gi-Oh. So Yu-Gi-Oh has all these rules, right? And Magic, it does have rules that kind of like make it a little bit convoluted, but it
Hmm.
follows the same simple pattern. Do you have mana? No, you can't do anything. Yes, you can summon unless you don't have enough mana for it. That's basically all it is. It's and you can see the mana you have too. That's the one thing I love about Magic that I kind of don't enjoy about Yu-Gi-Oh is that like your mana is right there. Like
Right.
you can see it. So that therefore you can like visualize, okay, I have enough mana this turn to do this. You know?
I get that. That is fairly straightforward. You know what? I think the reason why I like old school Yu-Gi-Oh more is because I learned it as a kid, and you know
Mm-hmm.
how they say it's a lot easier for kids to learn because they're sponges. Like you can learn new like completely different languages when you're a kid, and it's a lot easier. And so when I grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh, me understanding the rules was just basic because of course I have to sacrifice two monsters because this monster has that many attack points or whatever, or this many stars, and it
Yeah.
just made sense.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Because there's so much BS now to it. And I mean, yeah, there's a lot of
Now,
BS
yeah,
to you.
yeah,
There's a lot of BS to Magic, but Magic's one of those games where you can be like, "Hey, hold on, I want to see what that does," and like you can read it, and it's not like a 15 paragraph like thing that says, "Oh, there's this many things that this card can do," and you're like, "What?"
right. I think when I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh, because I had the physical cards when I always used to take them to like elementary and stuff, and also playing on like Game Boy Advance. I think there were only like 150 cards or something like that. Like there weren't that many cards. So nobody had these crazy decks. Everybody basically shared the same cards and you just built your deck differently.
Yeah.
And I like that personally. But now there's so many different ones that are like, oh man.
And I don't know, like some my friends are telling me, "Oh, you should get back into Yu-Gi-Oh. You should get back to Yu-Gi-Oh." And I'm like, "Bro, I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh in forever." And that game is a vastly different game. You know what I did play when I got into the Navy? Magic. And you know how good that game has done for me? I'm pretty sure I could teach someone how to play Magic in like 3 minutes. I don't think I have three. I don't think I have like 10 hours to try to learn Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah,
That's
Yu-Gi-Oh is a little. That's it. I mean, I guess it is a little convoluted now that I think about it. Even the old school stuff, a lot of descriptions for a lot of the cards.
mm, mm.
I never got into any other card game though. Not Hearthstone, not Magic.
I tried Hearthstone for a bit, but then it was like, eh. And then I tried what's that game? It's the Runes
The
something to do
Runeterra
with
or
yeah,
whatever.
Runeterra. Yeah, Legends
Yeah.
of Runeterra. I tried that one
Mhm.
too. I get it. It's just I don't know. It's one of those games where like though Hearthstone and Legends of Runeterra, the reason I don't like those games is cuz your your cards don't like reset their health once they attack. They keep their health value. So like you can't like really kind of strategize. Oh, okay, well I can tank this hit this turn, and then once it's my turn, I can kind of like my health's back to 5. I can do use that. No, it's like, oh, did you tank that hit? Okay, now your health's 1. It's your
Mhm.
turn. Good luck. What are you gonna do with it? You know. I mean, there's different strategy now to it, but I don't know.
I get it. I get it. Everybody has their own thing. Well, sir, I guess I can clap us up. So
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be a very much a different podcast, right? We're not doing show notes. We're just
Off the cuff.
off the cuff, straight from the hip.
Shoops.
Yeah, I know. Pew pew. Let me.
Oh, you know what? Since we're back,
Uh
the return of the queen must come
oh.
back.
Oh. Okay. All right. God, she's so big.
She's back, folks.
She is very nice. I'm surprised that the tape still has glue on it.
Oh well. Shoot. I should have put a lid on my cup. Oh god.
Oh, did you just spill?
Yeah, I spilled my cup of water all on my keyboard. Pain.
Oh man, well, go clean it. Go clean it.
That's fine. It's whatever. I'll just grab a
It's
towel.
water, dude.
Yeah, I'll grab the water to clean the table.
Yeah, you should probably clean it.
What a pain. This is live and unedited podcast material for you guys.
Oh man. It's like when Tyler won. He when his whatever his chicken parm slid onto his desk.
All right, let's leak all the water off the keyboard. There you go.
There you go. Strain it.
You gotta strain it, and then you gotta to train it to not do that. Oh well, I'm never gonna read this user guide ever again. Oh well.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. user guide for headphones. I don't know why I need 50 pages on how to use headphones when it's just plug, play, you're good.
There's probably some warranty stuff in there too.
Oh well. The saddest purchase I've ever purchased.
What is that?
Condoms. Never.
Oh my
used.
god. What's the expiration date?
This year.
Right.
Oh man.
I swear I thought you held them up to the camera. They look like ramen noodle packets.
You should make a short for that where it's like the saddest purchase ever.
Oh boy. You're telling me. It's brutal out there, Broken. It's brutal.
It is. Hold on. It's such a pain to like every time I see these condoms, I'm just like, wow.
I think I know who you bought them for.
Yep, and then it never happened.
R.I.P. dude.
Never happened. Actually, no, that was for a different person. Actually,
All right.
that also never happened too.
Damn. Fucking over 2.
Yeah, because condoms take like 4 or 5 years to expire. So if they're about to expire this year or next year,
Well, it looks like you used a couple.
No, my brother wanted to see what condoms were for the first time ever, and I was like,
Oh
take
god
2.
damn it, bro. I was gonna say you held 2. I was like, well, I mean, usually a pack comes more than 2.
6, yeah, but I gave 2 to him because I was like, you're like, what, high school, and you have no idea what a condom is? Here, sure, go bring it to sex ed and show everybody how fun it is to use it.
Maybe don't do that. I think nowadays you can't. It's what do you call it?
I get where you're going to go, but
Yeah.
luckily, my brother lives in very super conservative Christian like city. They don't care.
They still do sex ed in school? I didn't get sex ed in school.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they do, since like my brother and sister actually know how sex works and all that.
They could just be watching porn.
Also true. Not gonna lie. Also
I mean,
true.
come on. Ain't nobody having the birds and the bees talk anymore.
That's because
We've
you
lost
don't
our
need
innocence,
to.
broken. We've lost it.
We don't
There's
need
no
to.
innocence.
We don't need to have the birds and the bee conversation, dude. I remember
Right.
I remember the day I came back from the Navy, and I was like, "Hey, bro, hey, brother, hey, sister," and then they're like, "Oh, hey, you don't have to have the birds and the bees talk with us." I was like, "It's been 5 years, dog. I've been gone
Damn.
for 5 years. How did you guys know? Did you guys ask your mom and dad?" And they're like, "No, we just know." I was like,
Oh,
"Dang."
should have been like, I wasn't planning on it anyway. You're gonna have to figure that shit out on your own, like how I did. What episode are we on?
Good question. I mean, to be fair, they at least they didn't have their innocence completely stolen from them like I did. See, I got caught watching porn.
I mean, haven't we all?
They haven't, at least yet.
No. Well,
So
I think porn watching has become more sophisticated nowadays,
you see,
right?
I got caught.
Compared to when we grew up.
Yeah.
We grew up when it was a risk. Like,
Yeah, because I got caught because I had a big ass TV screen. It was the only way you could watch it, and I was like, "What is this?" And it's funny because I didn't know what it was at first. I was just kind of addicted to it, and I was like, "Huh, this is
14.
pretty," and I don't know why I'm addicted to it, but sure, why not? And then my
See-
dad walks in, and he's like, "I see.
Mm-hmm. You're becoming a man.
We're gonna have to
You
have a
know.
long conversation, aren't we?" And I was like, "I'm grounded, aren't I?" He's like, "Hell yeah, you're grounded."
Wait, is your family conservative?
Oh, hella conservative.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't go well. You know, but it's bad because I think you need to find a happy middle ground when you're going about those things, because if your family's too conservative, the kids usually want to break out, and usually when they break out, they go way to the opposite end of the spectrum and then start whatever, partying and doing all the stuff that you're not supposed to. But if you're too loose, then there are no boundaries, there are no rules. So you need to be somewhere in the middle of it, like,
Which
maybe
is
have
funny
some
because that's
exposure
how
to
they
stuff.
are.
But
That's how they are with my brother and sister. And now they're like, they don't really pay attention. Like, they don't really listen to the rules. And I just kind of like, every now and then I'm just like, I wouldn't do this if I were you. And then I was like, I wouldn't done this if I was at your age, but whatever.
Rip.
Oh, well.
It's different.
Oh, well. Different strokes for different folks. Am I right?
Yep. I remember my mom caught me, so I didn't. I mean, this was like internet porn. I think was probably a thing, but I didn't know about it. And
So you
I
also
would,
didn't know what you were watching, but you were like, huh, this is kind of
no,
interesting
but
to
like they
watch.
would have like late night movies, and after a certain time, I think it was like 11, like it would be like softcore, so they would just like show boobs or whatever, and I'd be
Oh,
like, oh my
yeah,
god,
yeah.
a naked lady. But it wasn't like actual porn. It was like, movie scenes.
Yeah, I get that.
So I remember I was watching in the living room. My mom was walking out of the room, and she was like, stealthy. I was like, I couldn't hear. So I had the TV on mute basically. And she walked up, and I was like, and she like came from the corner. I was like, oh shit.
I always hate that.
ESPN. Da-na-na, na-na. I had the last channel program, so I would have ESPN as the last channel, but I had the movie channel. So I'd be watching a movie, and I'd like make sure, like, oh man, hopefully nobody's watching, nobody's coming. My mom stealthily coming from behind me. We're like, what are you watching? I was like, nothing. ESPN, Kobe.
Do you know how many times, like, when I got into anime, that was actually a thing that happened? Because before I got into anime, I wasn't in high school until that's when I got into anime, was when I got into high school. Forcibly, by the way. See, I had friends that one day Anime Club got created. And they were like, oh, Anime Club got created. And then I was just like chilling. And then right before school ended, my friends were like, hey, where are you going? I was like, I'm going home. Cool. This big burly dude just grabs me. And I was like, where am I going now?
Damn.
Gets thrown on the couch. He's like, Anime Club. And I was like, I don't watch anime. He's like, you're going to now.
How old was the dude?
He was like the same age as me.
Oh shit.
He was just bigger and like stronger. So I was just like, oh, okay.
And weebier.
Yeah.
I knew about anime before high school. I think I knew about anime when I was like,
I mean,
12.
I knew about anime before high school. I didn't realize how good it was. I always had this wrong notation about it. Like, oh, it's convoluted, it's complicated, and everyone makes like stupid conversations that last 30 minutes. I mean,
Really? You didn't grow up with Dragon Ball Z?
I
That's our
did.
generation.
I did, but here's the thing: Dragon Ball and Pokemon transcend anime. Like, you could tell somebody, "Hey, do you like anime?" They'll say no, but then you'll be like, "Did you watch Dragon Ball or Pokemon?" They're like, "Yeah."
Yeah, that's true. Because my mom knew who Goku and Pikachu were, and she definitely isn't an anime person. My mom used to buy me Yu-Gi-Oh cards too. See, we're circling back to.
Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. You know what's funny? My mom did the same thing, and I'm so mad that she used to listen to those terrible conservative radio stations because if she didn't, I could have sold some fucking expensive ass Yu-Gi-Oh cards and been balling. You know what she
Bam,
did?
the AM channels got her.
You know what she did?
Did you give them away?
No, one day when it was raining, she threw the entire
Oh
folder
man,
into the rain, saying, "You cannot be tempted by Satan like this."
man, it's like the monster can. Damn, that's a shame. I don't think my mom would have ever done something like that if she knew that like I really liked
The
something.
pain. And then also,
Yeah.
I couldn't play like video games for a while and this and that. Like, I couldn't watch Pokemon or stuff like that. Oh, Pokemon is the signs
Pokemon.
of the devil. Yeah, there was a huge. Remember when they had that like that devil craze? Like, they were sprouting that Pokemon was a sign of the devil, Yu-Gi-Oh was a sign of the devil.
When was
All
this?
trading
This must
cards.
have been a Texas thing.
No, this was a national pandemic. This was a national
Oh,
pandemic, dude, and
I'm in
it was.
Michigan. It wasn't.
You know
We
what
were
it
cool
was?
Pokemon in Michigan.
No, you know what it was? In Michigan, your parents didn't turn on the AM radio.
That's true. Yeah.
You see, your
I
parents
have
were like,
Rush Limbaugh.
yeah, dude. Rush Limbaugh and all those like super mega churches being like, you gotta protect your children. Think of the children.
Man, that's brainwashing adults. The adults think we're getting brainwashed by the Pokemon, meanwhile they're getting brainwashed by AM radio.
Yep.
Crazy.
There's actually fun fact. There's an actual like video essay about that entire like pandemic, where like people were getting brainwashed to like throw away Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards and all that, and it was insane.
Yeah. My mom was pretty conservative, but not like to that point. Like she wanted us to stay out of trouble, but if she saw that we liked something that she didn't see that was going to harm anybody else or ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
she'd let us rock. So she would buy me like Beyblades and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and all this stuff that I liked. I used to watch all those, animes and stuff. And if they had like merchandise, they used to have Pogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Dragon Ball Pogs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to play those. Mom would always buy me stuff like that, so it was cool.
By the way, I felt terrible because I just realized that I was being an asshole on Friday because I have one of those. So at my job, you know how there's always like somebody that's like super. They're gonna be a problem if you do anything besides like let them be.
Mm.
So I have ADHD, so I was just like doing this, just flipping a coin and like grabbing, catching it, and
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
every time I'd flick it up, you'd hear "Tring!" and then you'd hear the catch,
Hmm.
"Tring!" catch, because I was just like doing it really loudly, just to keep myself in throat. And like every time I flick it, I would accidentally see her just be like, ah, ah. I was like,
Oh my
oh, what's
god.
going on here? And so I told her I was not gonna do it anymore. And then yesterday, I just like, cling.
Yeah, it's just like a natural reaction, right? Like if it's a, is it like a nervous habit?
Yeah, it's a nervous habit. So I was just like,
Yeah.
I needed to do something with my hands, and so I was like, oh, I could just, flick the coin and catch it while I like listen to my boss talk about how to do the job.
I used to have a kid in one of my classes, in my AP history classes, who also had like a nervous tick. And his tick was, I guess this is more so for the video watchers, not that we started yet, but um, he would do this with a pen or a pencil where
Mm-hmm.
he would just rotate it back and forth, and he would hit the table with one of the ends.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it would just like, hopefully I can show this, but anyway, he would just do that noise. I don't know if you could hear it, but
I'm pretty sure
um,
it'll be on the other
yeah.
side.
So And he didn't even notice that he was doing it. It's kind of like tapping your foot. Some people just have that nervous tick. I never had that. I could always just stand still, chill. My dad can't. My dad has like nervous ticks though.
It sucks so much because my parents hate it because I'll be watching a movie with them on the couch, and then my mom would be like, "Can you stop that?" I'm like, "Stop what?" Like you're shaking your leg hard, and it's vibrating the couch, and I'm like, "What do you mean?" And I look down, and I'm like,
A little earthquake down there.
and apparently my brother does that at church, and my mom hates it because at church you don't have like a bench, you have a pew. So everyone on that pew knows that you're just a nervous sitter.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I don't like it whenever he does that. And I'm like, you can't control it, okay? It's like, you got to do
That's
something.
probably better than like gnawing on your fingernails or something like that, I would assume.
I will say, I've been thinking about it like, once I get my first paycheck, I might buy like one of those like things that you hold in your hand, because it's gonna be a call job. So all I'm gonna do is just call people, and then while I'm on the call, I can just like fiddle.
That's good. Yeah.
We'll see.
You need to look up a video for someone who's had that job and how do they pass the time. I'm sure there's trick to that trade. I've never had a call center or any sort of like customer support job before. But there's got to be a way to like not do your job while doing your job.
Well, you see, luckily I'm all outbound calls, not inbound calls.
So you're the one calling.
I'm the one calling, and I'm the one like actively activating, things. So it makes it easier for me to be like, oh, I have to do something. Oh, let me make a call so I can make money, because the way it works is that I get $10. $10 base pay per hour. During training, I get $5 extra as a bonus, so I'll have $15 until training is over. And then once training is done, during this campaign, which is T-Mobile, it'll be $3 instead of $5, so I'll have $13 every hour.
And you get commission.
And then I get commissions. And during training, I keep my commissions too. And the way it works is that you get paid every 2 weeks, and the last paycheck of the month, you get your commissions put into it. So your first paycheck is going to be, your normal paycheck, and then the second one is paycheck with commissions.
How'd you stumble upon this job?
I was looking for a remote job, and then I found out it wasn't a remote job, but I was like, it's fine.
Interesting. You always find like the nuttiest jobs. Like I never would have walked into, but you and I think have very different type of professional set of skills. So
yeah,
I would be terrible at the jobs that you've done though. Like you've done bartending and serving, dude. I would be awful. Like I'd be like, I hate all of you. I would be like, no.
It's funny. I actually, at certain points in my life when I was being a server, just said I hate all of you, and it's just like, and I do that like the way I do it so I don't get fired is I do that while walking away. Like I'll be like, I hate all of these people. And then I'll be like, or when it's loud as hell, I'll just be like, I hate all these people. And none of them can hear me because the DJ is blasting music so loud. So I'm just like, oh, good. Yep. So I get to do it right in front of their face and be like, I hate you.
Yeah, it's tough. The service industry will really do that for you. I worked in a hotel, but I was a maintenance, so I didn't have a lot of contact with the people who stayed in the rooms.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually after they left or they checked out, I would go in the room and make sure that everything's all right. But there were times where like, oh, my faucet's leaking, and I have to go in there and have to make small talk with people. Even that I didn't like. Like there's certain situations where like I don't hate all people, but if you put the right or I guess rather the wrong circumstance, and having to engage with people who you wouldn't have otherwise, that's when I hate people, because I'm like, ugh, this sucks. Like I want to do this.
And here's the thing I think that like kills me is the fact that like I'll come into work with a happy mood, and it's not the people. 9 times out of 10, it isn't the people that I serve that piss me off. It's my fellow employees that piss me off.
Yeah.
Because they're all power hungry assholes.
That happens, and a lot of those industries, especially when you have middle bosses, where they're basically the middleman between the manager and then the grunts. those are the people that I think power trip a lot of times because the manager, he just wants things to go well
Mm-hmm.
usually. And then the grunts are there for a paycheck. They're looking to just make money. It's always, if you're in that middle,
You know
you're
what?
trying to power trip.
Do you know what's even worse? It's not the middle people. It's the people in the middle of them and you.
Oh God, assistant manager,
Because
co-assistant
here's how
manager.
this works. So, in the service industry, there's a closer, right?
Mhm.
So basically, they're the person that they're the last server that leaves, and they have to make sure all the end duties are done. So
Right.
they don't get to leave until all the other servers get to finish their tasks. Otherwise, they have to do those tasks, and those motherfuckers power trip like crazy, because you'll
Yeah.
be like, "Oh hey, I'm tired. I've done everything," and I'll talk to the manager, be like, "Hey, look, normally I'll roll napkins and all this and that, but I gotta go or this or that, right?" And then the manager will be like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead. You did all this. You did a great job. Go home." And then the freaking closer will come out of nowhere and be like, you didn't do your fucking napkins. You got to roll your napkins." And then the manager's like, "I can't let you go now because the closer doesn't want you to go." And I'm like, this bitch just does that because she doesn't want to stay here longer than she needs to on non-tip pay.
Right. Well, that's just how it is. Like, why'd you put yourself in that position if you're going to be unhappy? But why would you even want? I understand, like, you want to move up, but
And
man,
it's
that's
and the sad thing is that closer isn't a position that you choose. Closer is given to just a random person
oh
that
lame.
day because and it's usually given to somebody that's the last person. So for example, I've closed the morning shift a lot when I'm the morning shift guy. But when I close morning shift, I'm just like, "Hey, just make sure everything's good for night check." So that
Mm.
way night check doesn't have to worry about anything and then you're good. I don't ask people to roll napkins unless we don't have napkins. I don't ask
Yeah.
people to do crazy stuff unless it needs to get done, you know? But night shift people, they fucking power trip. They're like, "I don't want to be here for 10 3 hours, so none of you guys get to be here until none of you guys get to leave." And I'm like, or
That's whack.
or maybe why don't you work with us, and try to get things done so that we all get to leave at a good time instead of all
Hmm.
being miserable.
That's just bad supervisors, though. You'll find them anywhere. I just find that you probably see them more in the service industry, hospitality industry, things that have to do with people. It's kind of like dealing with Twitter on a daily basis, except it's just or Twitter like people on a daily basis. Because dude, when I used to work the hotel, my ex-girlfriend was the front desk,
Mm-hmm.
and I would always see her. Like I'd come down from like the maintenance office, whatever, if I was slow, and I would see her like deal with people who are either checking in or checking out, and I was just like, oh God, that's terrible.
I
because
know.
because people have, I mean, they're just so rude for like no reason, and it's like, man, just why you gotta be that way?
That's why. That's why one of it's not even the reason though. Because funny enough, it wasn't the reason that made me quit the service industry. The reason I quit the service industry, oddly enough, was because I was just like, I'm getting tired of only getting paid on the weekends at nights. That's the only time you really get paid on a
Yeah,
service industry job. You can't get paid in the mornings, and you can't get paid during Monday through Friday. You get paid, or Monday through Thursday. You get paid Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So get ready to slave the weekend and lose your weekend. And I was like,
it's not worth it.
there's so many things I want to do on the weekend. There's tournaments I want to go to. There's events I want to go to. There's people I want to talk to. I can't do any of these things.
Yeah, no, I remember you were dead a lot of times. We're
And then I
either
wanted to,
working or sleeping.
yeah, and I wanted to stream too, and I couldn't stream because
Yeah,
the only time you can technically stream is night times. Good luck streaming at nights whenever you get off and you just got off and you're done working. And it's like,
it's
okay, now
tough.
what?
It's tough.
Yeah, that's why I was kind
Yeah,
of
that's
glad.
why I always like the consistent jobs in which I knew I'm coming in at this time, I'm leaving at that time, and I'm getting paid this. I like having consistency with that. I didn't like either tips or commission or, on this day or like on the weekend pay and all this stuff. I was like, no, I don't want any of that. I don't want a rotating schedule. I want to know when my hours are for the week, and I want to know what I'm getting paid every day. And that's how it is.
Mhm. I will say the thing that I appreciated the most was the fact that when I joined this job, I was afraid because they said commission, like your paid
Hmm.
commission fee. I was like, oh shit, there goes my taxes. And then they're like, I asked them, is our commissions like taxed already? They're like, yeah, you don't have to worry about commission. Like you don't have to worry about the end of the year taxing. And I was like, oh thank God, I don't want to
Yeah,
deal
because they
with.
just add it to your paycheck. So,
Well, yeah, but so when I was in the service industry, they give you tips, and so you get taxed based on how much tips you make. So, like at the end of the year, when I go and do taxes for this year, I'm probably gonna have to pay a lot, and I'm just like, I don't have any money for that.
wait, cash tips or added on your check?
Cash tips, they don't get added to your
Yeah,
check.
cash is different because cash you have to claim. But if you're getting commission and they add it to the second paycheck you have for the end of the month, then they'll add that. You're a W-2 employee, so they'll add it to your taxable income.
Which is great because now I don't have to worry about
Yeah. I mean, they'll probably take out more, but you won't have to do your own taxes. But then again, with commission, unless you're driving your personal vehicle and staying at a hotel, you won't be able to write anything off if you're trying to like write it off as a business meeting or whatever. So, but there are loopholes to that kind of thing. But since you're just going to be on the phone, you can't really write anything off. You might be able to write off your phone bill
true.
since, you're using it for work. You'll be able to write part of it off. For everybody listening, I'm not a tax advisor. This is just things I've heard from other people. You can write certain things off, not all of them, but certain things if you have documentation.
Yeah. So, for example, I'm probably gonna start from now on, starting today, and I'm gonna start like holding on to all my receipts for gas, and just be like, hey, I use gas to go to work, so that's work write off. And then because I stream, I told people this because like you can technically do this. I'm gonna start like anything I buy video game wise. If I'm streaming whatever it is that like that is attached to, which 9 times out of 10 I probably am. I'm just gonna like write that video game or that purchase off as a tax write off and be like, it's based on me streaming, so therefore it is a job purchase. It's not an active thing that helps me out.
Yeah, speak with a tax person first before you do that. Don't get in
Yeah,
trouble with the IRS.
yeah,
They
that's true
will
too.
come up your ass.
That's true too. I will.
Speak with somebody. I'm not qualified to give you advice.
That's true. I made that joke and someone was like, "So, do you get paid by Twitch?" And I was like, "I do, but I don't get paid enough."
Yeah, I don't know what the parameters are to writing something off. I think you can write off anything as long as you're making any sort of income, but
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
don't.
how true that is. Just talk to somebody.
I'll talk to somebody. I haven't gotten an I-99 this year. Though I only got an I-99 once from Twitch because they paid me $100 because I finally got $100. So
You have to claim taxes if you made $100. Really? YouTube doesn't make us claim taxes if we haven't made $600.
I mean, so Twitch for us small streamers, we're not gonna make enough money from Twitch to actually by the end of the year to even qualify. Because I think if I remember correctly, once you make $800 or more as a small business owner, that's when like the IRS is gonna be like, "Hey, what's up with this?"
We want our cut.
Yeah, exactly. But if you make anything below $800, they're gonna be like, "Who cares? Chump change.
Yeah.
Fucking keep it."
You
But
know,
even though that's the case, I'll still put that I-99 form on my tax write off. I'll be like, "Hey, just to be safe,
yeah, you probably, I mean,
safe than
they probably
sorry."
won't take anything out. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference compared to your entire income. The IRS, if you are guaranteed to get a refund after you do your taxes, and let's say you miss doing your taxes that year, there's no penalty. But
Hmm.
guess what? If you owe taxes, it could be $5. You'll owe the IRS $5 and you miss that. that year, they'll penalize your ass 25%
I
the
hate
next
it.
year. Can you believe that?
I hate
The
it here.
IRS is so grimy. It's like, oh, okay, so when I'm supposed to get money, I can miss a year, but when I owe you $5, you're gonna penalize me a
That's
quarter of my income.
that's how it was in the when I was in the military. If the military fucks up your paycheck, oh, you're probably not going to get your fixed paycheck for like 3 months. If you get paid way too much money,
I'll
get
take it the next
ready
day.
for them to fucking take that shit fast.
Oh man, it's good times. All right, let us start. This won't be very long of a podcast. It'll be like maybe 40 minutes, I would assume. I don't have a lot to talk about. We're just gonna catch up, kind of like what we've been doing.
By the way, have you seen what MODOK looks like in Ant-Man and the Wasp?
What? Who? It looks like what?
MODOK looks like.
Mm-mm.
Oh. Here, I'll.
There's a new Ant-Man movie.
Yeah, there's gonna be a new Ant-Man movie, and it's gonna have MODOK in it, and woo! I don't know what to say other than just look at that picture right there.
Retry, something went wrong. Did they delete it?
Hold on, I can. I can go back to it.
Is it because I don't have Twitter anymore? Can I not just see?
Here, I'll just make it easier for you.
Oh Jesus! What's that?
It's MODOK.
My God, that's really bad. But you know
Really?
what? To their it's tough making a character like that look good. You know,
That's why they shouldn't.
it's basically a head with just, tiny legs and arms.
That's why they should have never made him in a
Sprouting out of
real
it.
life action. He should have
Yeah, that's
stayed on
true.
the animation feel.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Oh well.
All right. Um,
Speaking of that, it pisses me off how there's so many good like animated movies and stuff that they're like, oh, we're gonna make a live action version of it. Like, no, just let it be.
what's the
Good.
latest one they're doing?
How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's lame. What happened to? Uh-oh, what did I do? My boxes are all messed up.
By the way, I like how Capcom's going into the horny route this game.
What they do? Oh, the Cammy.
Yeah, did you see the Cammy trailer? That everyone was like,
Yeah, I was
"Oh,
like, I guess
fuck."
Cammy doesn't get. She doesn't get older. She just gets hotter with every game.
She's 40.
But look at Chun-Li in comparison.
Chun Li's like what, 45, 50, 60?
But Chun-Li is kind of starting to look her age. Cammy still looks like she's 22.
Yeah, you're right.
What's up with that? What's the deal?
With hospital food.
Dude,
You
what
know-
did I do in my boxes? What the hell?
I do that all the time. I'll say, "What's the deal with hospital food?"
Oh, I say airline food because the Jerry
I thought it was
Seinfeld.
I thought it was hospital food.
I thought it was airline. Wasn't? Maybe it's both. I don't know.
Maybe, honestly. You know, I think the funniest thing is that
There we go.
I've been saying those stupid puns like you're telling me they say chef's kiss. Wait, you're telling me they do that?
That's funny. That's a good one. I like that.
The bird flu. Yeah, they tend to do that.
Oh man, that's a good one. I like dad jokes like that.
Yeah, and then another one's like road work ahead. I sure hope it does.
That's the classic Vine. I love that one.
And then
I sure hope. Every time I see that sign, in my head, I have this inner monologue. I sure hope it does.
You're telling me a shrimp fried this rice? You're telling me a gingerbread this man?
Oh, dad jokes are the best.
I know.
Dad jokes and puns, I think, will be immortalized by human beings until the end of time.
Exactly. One of my favorite dad jokes from that like little train is apartment complex. Seems pretty simple to me.
Mm-hmm. Damn, dude, I don't know what's going on. How my boxes got. So I looked at the Ant-Man thing you sent me, and then my boxes got messed up all of a sudden.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I don't know why.
By the way, fun fact: this used to be soup. I just put so much rice in it that I just kind
You
of
drowned your soup with rice?
yeah.
Damn.
To be fair, it was one of those soups that you have to put rice in it because like there's no substance to it.
Mm.
Yeah, I didn't have anything else.
What's going on with my door there? Oh, okay. That's just the border.
By the way, I think it's have you seen the new meme from new meme that has like what's it from the gay artist that people are making jokes of now? It's like, oh hey, check it out, Red Dead Redemption 3 got leaked, and it was like
Is it Sam Smith?
not it's not Sam Smith, it's like Animon Studios or something like that.
Oh, I don't know. I saw some Sam Smith memes because the dude is wearing the craziest shit lately. I was like, oh my God.
It's Animan Studios. Yeah, don't look up Animan Studios because
I won't. Don't worry.
Animan Studios is just gay animated videos in the Hanna-Barbera style.
Oh, dude, I'm not entirely sure what happened here, but
Oh, by the way, did you read the latest episode of the middle school Guilty Gear?
no, I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah, dude. Ever since I think last year, there's a middle school teacher that he lets his students during like once a month. He lets his students play Guilty Gear XXX and Core plus R, and he's a Faust player.
Okay.
And so what he does is he doesn't teach. He only teaches them like the bare minimum. Like this is how you this is how you move. These are your buttons. These are your characters, and you lose if you lose your health. He doesn't explain how to use meter. He doesn't explain how to use special moves. He doesn't explain anything. That's it, right?
Hmm.
And then happens is that at the end of he'll have a tournament basically with all the students, right? And then at the end, he tells the students to like judge what each character is based off of like the tournament, right? And so usually they always put Faust at like top tier because he's a good Faust player, and so they don't know how to deal with him. But like in the beginning, you'll always see until he like at the end of the school year where he actually reveals dust loops and then shows them how to like actually play. They develop a way to play the game. You'll always see like you'll see Faust top tier. You'll see Axel kind of top tier. You'll see Potemkin top tier because
How old are the students?
they're middle school students.
Middle school.
6H is just powerful, you know?
Hmm.
And then you'll see like characters that are really strong but die fast or have stubby normals. They'll be like low tier because 6H is just 6H with Potemkin. But and then this year apparently there's a mini Faust girl, so like she was like the little sister to somebody from the school prior, and so he brought it in. He started learning Zappa and started like whooping people's ass because he learned Zappa. And so while we was at home learning Zappa, she learned Faust. So that year she was whooping everyone's ass with Faust. And then all of a sudden Like there's that. And what I think is funniest thing is that there's an actual girl who she rates ABBA as S tier, even though none of them ever actually use ABBA or do it. But she says, "Come on, ABBA just looks sexy, guys. Put her in S tier. She has to be cool."
Female degen right there.
Exactly.
Watch out for her.
But yeah, it's actually kind of interesting to see like, okay, in a controlled environment where there's a bunch of people who don't know what fighting games are, they don't know how to play fighting games, and you just throw them a fighting game and you tell them, hey, you know, learn it and judge. It's kind of interesting to see like the dynamics of like what happens. Because this year, not only was there a mini Faust that knew how to play the game, there's a kid from like Pakistan who knows how to play Zangief from Street Fighter. So when he picked up Potemkin, he was like, "Zangief?" And his teacher was like, "Yeah." And he started just whooping people's ass. So
Cheap.
it's kind of
Grapplers are
cool.
cheap.
Yeah, once a month on Reddit, it is the cool. It's the greatest like Reddit post ever to just read.
Nice. Ready. What episode did I say this was? 14?
I can go on YouTube real quick and figure that out.
I think I have the tab open. It is episode 14.
Cool. How is Riot changing Ash?
Riot is
But yeah. So, let's talk about some cool stuff like, hey, it must suck to be Ed Boon right now.
Does it?
Did you not hear what happened like last week? Or
Oh, they had
yesterday?
that meeting or whatever, and they were talking about all the WB stuff that's coming up the pipe. That
Mhm.
wasn't going to be a secret, though. Everybody knew MK.
Well, it's
12
the
or
worst
13,
kept
whatever.
secret in the world, but
Yeah.
we didn't know when they were gonna announce it. And then I was like, they should never have. They should have never like put. I said this day one when they did the Evo announcements for like the games. I was like, bro, MK12. I mean, MK11 doesn't need to be there at all. In fact, they should have put like another game. And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh, I know why they're gonna put MK11 there, because this is gonna be the only year where they announce MK12 at Evo. Because every year prior, when they announce a NRS game, it's at a game show where more people are
Yeah.
watching it. But this is probably
That's the audience, though.
yeah, it is the audience. But like this year, I felt like they're probably announcing it during Evo. That's why they had MK11 at Evo. As like a, oh hey, after MK11, hey, here's MK12. But
MK. I listened to that before we start. I listened to that podcast that Glenn added
us
all of
watch.
us.
yeah,
I didn't really feel like those guys were like yelling at each other. First of all, there's a lot of people on the call, so whenever you have more than like 4 people on a call, it's gonna get chaotic. But I thought it was okay. Like they weren't like completely out
the
of pocket.
the reason I said that they're kind of yelling at each other is because like one person would be talking, and then whenever someone would say something, the other person felt like they had to defend themselves immediately, so they would try to like overtake it and like try to speak while the other person's talking. And I
7 guys on a call is tough. That's too many voices.
True. But that's why I was like, when we're in the podcast and me, you, and Pringle are on the podcast, we kind of give each other room to talk. Like, even if I have to say something and you bring something up and I want to say something about it, I kind of usually tend to let you speak your piece, and then I'll say something. I'll be like, oh, hey, back to this, or back to what you said, this, rather than like cut you off and be like, hey, actually.
You know what I started noticing is I was listening to a podcast and these two aren't familiar with each other. It's a host and a guest that aren't like co-hosts. They're just he's a guest on the show, and the guest is talking, and the host, in order to, I guess, seem engaging, even though you don't have to do this, right? So they're in person, they're physically in the same room. he keeps saying after every time the guy says a sentence and then another one's coming in between those two, he'll be like, right, right, right. I'm like, man, you don't have to say right every time to like make sure he knows that you're listening. He knows you're listening. You're right there.
I was actually told that during my class. Like, hey, you don't have to say affirmatives all the time. And sometimes if you say affirmatives and you don't actually listen, they get pissed off and you may not make that sale. Because then it's like, oh, hey, you called me just to waste your time so that you can say your spiel and then be like, buy things.
Did they talk about pregnant pauses?
They did not talk about pregnant pauses.
They should. You ever seen that Key and Peele sketch where the guy hangs up on him every time? You should watch it. It's pretty funny. He's a telemarketer. Alrighty, let's start this. Welcome back, everybody. Right to Orbis, episode 14. My name is Max Pleister. I am joined by not Pringle the 1, Womp Womp. He's not here. By Pringle the 2, aka Broken Wing.
Nice. By the way, guys, as you can see, she's back.
She is. The queen has graced our presence.
I mean,
I guess we've graced her presence.
No, she's graced our presence because
she's graced our presence. Yeah.
Yeah, as you know, she said she was going to like. She was like, "Oh, hey, do you need a sugar mama? I'll be your sugar mama." And I'm like, you know what?
When did she say this? Hold on, I'm off Twitter. I need information.
She said this like 2-3 weeks ago, a month ago. I don't know. I didn't watch the video, but I was browsing through YouTube and I saw button checks and it said, Pokimane wants to be your sugar mama. And I was like, this is just... Man, not going to watch that video, though.
Yeah. Simp Army must have jumped on that, huh?
Uh-huh.
Good for her. She knows how to market herself, that's for sure.
She's got the money.
Queen of the FGC.
Yeah, she is now. It's funny. She went from, I have no idea what fighting games are, to let's bring back Marvel, and also I'm the queen of FGC.
Yeah. You know, being the queen of the FGC, how hard of a title is that to earn, really? Like, what are the criteria? Be a girl.
Know what a fighting game is.
Know what a fighting game is.
And
show your feet occasionally.
You don't even need to know what a fighting game is. The saddest part is just either like draw fighting game characters or dress up as a fighting game character, and
true.
You're golden. You don't even have to play fighting games.
That's true. Yeah, especially what if you do both? What if you both do art and cosplay? You're the ultimate queen.
True. Yeah. And actually, the real ultimate queen is one who does the Forbidden Third one, which is actually plays the fighting game.
I don't think the fighting game weebs care about that. Now, if you have another layer in which you either stream saying you're playing fighting games, but not really, you're just interacting with chat because you got to give the simps what they want. Or if obviously, I think the mega, you'll never be dethroned as the queen of fighting games as if you did fighting games OnlyFans. That would be it. Or sexy Twitter, one or the other.
Dang, I didn't think of that.
I'm telling you.
You beat me to it. Although my favorite is the female streamer meta where it's like, you remember how I had a blue archive in the top right where it's like you barely see it but it's just there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the game. The actual stream.
Oh, that's right.
Is her.
It's just the just chatting meta where like I'm technically playing the game, but
actually you're here to see me, not the game.
I know. She's like with a cut off tank top and the angle of the camera is very
under her voluptuous breast.
Yeah.
Hey, look.
Conveniently placed.
Make that money, okay? You gotta make.
Hey, make your money.
Exactly.
I'm not hating. No.
I'm not hating at all. If I had tits, I'd make that money.
Yeah, why not? I mean, listen, we had this conversation, and we're just gonna go right into it. All right, we had this conversation in Discord where we were talking about that stuff, and like OnlyFans girls and girls who do sex work and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm not hating. Like, make your money, girl. Like, hey, if you want to be independent, you want to be an entrepreneur, and that's your avenue to do so, do it on you. I'm not hating on you. That's, it's a business. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, if you want to do sex work and do OnlyFans, you should know that there's going to be, hopefully, there's going to be only a certain type of man that's going to want to interact with you.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably want a certain thing that if you want to be taken seriously, you can't be like, can't put that stuff on the internet as like, oh, I want to be respected. Like, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. If I can pay $5 to see you naked, why would I go the traditional route of really trying to court you and like take you out and all this stuff? It's like, no, I'll pay the $5. It's cheaper than going out. I mean, you know how much a movie ticket is now? It's more than $5.
True.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, I will say this though, like, while yes, that is true, I don't know. I'll be that guy that, like, because I've noticed all these sex workers on Twitter, or I don't actually follow them. I just see like people that I follow that follow them that like post it and be like, yo, who's gonna be the one to do it? I'm like, look, I mean, if she looks in my general direction and she's like, hey, I'm looking, because they all ask, hey, you should normalize dating sex workers. And I'm like, look, I'll date a sex worker. I get to roll in OnlyFans money all day doing nothing. I'll quit my job and just stream full time. This is all I gotta do.
Be the cameraman.
Huh?
Yeah.
And I'll be the cameraman.
You can help her out. Yeah, be the cameraman.
Exactly. That's just easy. Easy dough. What do you mean? Oh, you're dating a sex worker. Okay, and my paycheck is great.
Would you? Here's the real question. The real question. Would you wife a sex worker?
Yeah, I'd wife a sex worker.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, then yeah, you're one of the new age crops. You have no qualms against that stuff. I'm boomer. I'm old school. I'm like, no. Like I can't.
The reason I'd wife a sex worker is because once I'm the husband, I'm the one that she looks to for, like, oh, hey, I gotta film a porno. Okay, sure, fuck it. I'll be your dick. Okay, and I'll have to put me on the video. You can put my penis on there, and then we'll call it a day.
What if she starts getting a little too risque and she's like, actually, I want to bring in a third party? What do you say to that, huh? Supportive sex worker husband?
How big is this pay? How big is this pay cut gonna be?
Oh my God, you're gonna whore your wife. How dare you, Brogan?
No. How big is this pay cut gonna be? Because if this pay cut's huge, then I don't know. It depends on who the third is. Because, like, a lot of sex workers, I've found out, they're friends with other sex workers, and they'll want to do videos with their girlfriends all the time. So if the mysterious third's a female, I'll be like, you know what? Sure, you guys can use the bed. You guys can make your lesbian porno video, and I'll have the camera ready going. If it's a man, we're gonna have to talk. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to talk. I don't know how big this pay cut's gonna be, but we're gonna have to talk.
Brutal. I'm sure they deal with that stuff because eventually, the audience wants more. Like, they always want more. Mm-hmm. So if you show your feet for a year, eventually they're gonna want to see something else.
Well,
so that's why you have to ramp it up.
You don't always have to ramp it up. If you have a niche and you keep the niche going, then your niche is you're filling your niche. Like, for example, if you're a cosplay, like if you role play while you have sex, as long as you keep role playing, you're fulfilling your niche. People like that. I mean, like, who doesn't like watching some random girl who's dressed up like their waifu getting banged?
That's true, but I think there's an expiration date because eventually you probably run out of ideas and characters. So you have to, like, okay,
who do I choose?
What do I do now?
Well, then that's when you start dipping into the fighting game fund.
Oh man,
fighting games have so many waifus it'd be impossible.
There are a lot of waifus out there. I guess it would be a pretty deep well. I mean, until you ran dry.
You know what's funny? You see this art right here behind me? That is that is basically the Crunchyroll mascot, or not the Crunchyroll mascot. That's the
Pokimane. No! For the listeners at home, the poster, the Pokimane poster that Broken had on his wall. When he pointed at the poster, she fell down. This is an omen. It's a sign. Do not talk about OnlyFans girls,
I was gonna
especially not in front of
say,
our queen.
yeah, I was gonna say, she's the anime loot box mascot. I think I could find a anime loot box mascot porn. Like
You said
they'll
that's Crunchyroll?
not Crunchyroll, it was loot box back when they
Loot
had
box,
the.
okay.
I'm
Because the
pretty
Crunchyroll girl has orange hair, right?
Yeah, she has orange hair.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I could find a video with her as it. Like they'll dig to do the trenches.
Oh, you can find videos of anything nowadays.
Exactly.
You can find videos of things you don't want to see.
Exactly.
It's all out there.
Speaking
It's all
of things that you, like that are kind of weird, backed on fighting games. Did you hear about how Steve is now a nuisance?
The Minecraft Steve?
Hmm?
Okay.
Do you know
What's going on with him? Again? I thought he was always a nuisance.
No, now it's gotten to the point where if they don't ban him, they have to ban him.
Mm.
Because apparently there was some new tech, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that was found where Minecraft Steve can negate or ignore hit stun.
R.I.P.
So basically, he'll just be like, "Oh, you hit me? Funny. While you're hitting me, here's my combo, and it's a true combo." And they're like, "We gotta ban this character, or we gotta ban the hit stun like negate." And they're like, "Well, you can't ban a technique, you know, because
Nintendo won't do
at
anything.
some point, someone's gonna do that technique, and what are you gonna do? You're gonna say, "Hey, we said you can't do this technique, so you did it. So therefore, like you can't police a technique in a game."
Yeah, you can. Remember they did that with Melty Blood with the Infinite. You can only do 2 loops.
Well, yeah, but that's a loop. You can visually see the loop, you know.
Hmm.
But like, can you visually tell that hey, someone was doing a combo, I negated the combo, and like I did my own thing? Like that's so hard to like police, especially during like a tournament. No,
Think they'll patch it?
no,
Oh, yeah, Nintendo. They don't care.
I don't care.
They don't care, broken, about anything.
As
Hey,
soon
we
as they
started this
released,
podcast out hot.
yeah.
Go ahead. What,
I was gonna
what
say
are you
as
gonna
soon
really-
as soon as they released Sora, they were like, "Good game, bye."
Yeah.
That
Is
was it.
Kazuya still strong?
Yeah, Kazuya's still strong.
Still strong. Yeah. Good.
People who
Tekken rep.
people who use hitbox are destroying kids on with that character. I was
Good.
like,
Good. Show them. Like I said, we started this podcast off strong. I guess let's get the elephant out of the room. It's been what, at least 2 months, close to 3, but at least 2 months of us not recording. This is episode 14 of Ride to Orbis.
yep.
Previously, a gaming podcast, but no more. It's no longer. It doesn't have the colon and the gaming podcast onto it. There's going to be changes, fellas. Obviously, we took 2 months off. Fellas and ladies and fellas. You know, I looked at my analytics. It said 0.03 female listeners. I don't know what that means.
I'm gonna look up my analytics to see like how many female viewers I have. That one female that came on my Magic the Gathering stream just spiked it up to 1. Hooray!
Dude, ours is 99.7 male, 0.3 female. I don't know that that's even a whole woman. that's like an arm and a boob. That's all that is. So, yeah. But anyway, there are going to be changes. We're always changing. We're evolving here on Ride to Orbis. No Pringle, by the way.
Sad
We're supposed to
days.
try to make this happen. I think
Sad
we've been
days.
working on trying to make a podcast happen for the last couple weeks.
Yep.
But we wanted all of us. And I promised people on Patreon, I was like, I will put a podcast in February. I told the people, I was like, we will be back in February, but we're trying to make it work. And every week we're like, oh, either you could make it, I can make it, or Pringle couldn't make it. So we decided, well, this is the last opportunity for us to really make a podcast this month. So we had to let it ride.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. And I guess, so we're not using show notes. This is the first ever either FGC Hollywood or at the Orbis podcast where we're not using show notes.
We're
Off the
just
cuff.
Off the cuff, guys. Anything
Yep.
that we think about, we're just gonna talk about it.
We're shooting from the hip on episode 14. But I put out, I talked to you guys and I put out a thing on Patreon as well as Discord about what I want to do with the podcast, I guess let's address the bigger elephant in the room. Why were we off for so long? So I was going through some stuff, personal life, that I couldn't really put time. I don't remember if I already quit my job before we went on hiatus or not, but I had some stuff going on in my personal life that I couldn't set some time to record, and it just so happened that it took 2.5 months, and life happens. So here we are, we're back, and during that time, while we were off, I remember I was working on some show notes for an episode that we were supposed to do. And during that time, I was like, man, I'm not enjoying this process at all. Like, this is not fun to me doing the show notes for specific gaming type news. And even though I like games, they don't, now that I'm turning almost 30, I'm going to be 30 in 8 months. I'm already practicing. Like, I'm already saying I'm 30, just so I'm not completely depressed when it happens. When I hit my midlife crisis. And it's over. It's over from then. It's done.
Dude. When I'm gonna be 28 this year, and I'm just like,
it's done. It's over.
Dude, this year is the 10-year anniversary of my high school. I gotta attend that.
Brutal. I didn't go to mine. I hate those guys. Fuck.
I can't believe I'm gonna go to that.
I don't hate them.
I'm gonna go there, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, Tamir, what did you do with in your 10 years of being out of high school?" Nothing. Didn't even get
Hey, at least the
married.
pandemic is over for you. Mine happened during the pandemic, sort of. Like a year after the pandemic. So at least you'll be able to go. Do you have good friends there?
A few, yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's good.
I just don't want to go over there, and everyone's gonna be like married and have kids, and I'm gonna be like, they're gonna be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm single, living in an apartment alone.
Maybe you'll find, the chubby chick in high school who turned her life around, and maybe you can pick her up at the reunion. How about that?
God dang.
Be like, hey, now, I got 2 unused condoms in my room.
Oh,
Never
man. The moment is finally here.
So for people, before we started the podcast, Broken shows me these 2 ramen packets, and I was like, what are those? And he's like, oh, they're condoms. I never used them.
I just had the worst purchase of my life.
Yeah. Well, they're still good, so make the most out of them.
Oh.
At least you're being responsible. You're protecting.
Yeah.
You're not ready for kids.
I'm not at all. I don't make enough money for kids.
No. I'll be honest with you, now I'm getting older. The idea is becoming more fun to me. Like, I'm actually like, I would be, if I knocked up a chick tomorrow, I think I would be more fond of having a kid as opposed to not having a kid. But if you asked me when I was your age, when I was 28, I'd be like, oh, no way. Mostly because I would think having a kid would be cool. I wouldn't even really care about the girl I knocked up. I'd be like, well, whatever, you're the mom. But like, I just think having a kid would be cool.
Yeah.
Or raising a kid.
I mean, I want to be a dad, but like, I don't want to be dad now because my financial and like my financial situation wouldn't be dad worthy. Like, I know the government pays people if you have a kid up to like 3 kids, but even then, I don't want any child to be living in a apartment like this. No.
Yeah, my buddy told me when he turned into a dad, something switched within him that he didn't know he had, where this new sense of responsibility and accountability came over him. I was like, it doesn't matter what I have to go through. I have to provide for the kid, and I can kind of see where he's coming from because it's definitely an important thing. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked. We'll talk about kids eventually. We got to use them condoms first. So anyway, took 2 months off and couldn't get a podcast going, but I put out this thing. I was like, man, I'm not enjoying the process of doing the show notes, and we're talking about things that are somewhat cyclical, and the fact that like it seems like every week we're talking about, oh, Nintendo shut down another tournament for Smash Kids, and we can't do that. And there's some game announcement and stuff like that, but I was thinking I want to expand the podcast, and the fact that kind of like what we're doing today is we're talking about a wide variety of things. I mean, for Christ's sake, we started a podcast talking about OnlyFans girls. Now that's not going to be every week, but I brought up the idea to both you and Pringle of what I want to do. And the short story is I want to expand the podcast, but still have use for show notes, but instead of talking about daily and weekly news and topics that are current, I want to talk about things that can be looked at as timeless, which that's what I wanted to do with content since the start. When I started my own YouTube channel, I wanted people to be able to listen or watch my content today, tomorrow, or 5 years from now and still get roughly the same thing out of it versus, what we have been doing is just covering things that are happening in the moment. So if you watch it a year from now, it doesn't really hit the same. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So I brought up the idea. I was like, how about we just try to like focus on one thing per week and try to make that thing something we care about. So it could be anything. Obviously, gaming's not going anywhere because it's a big part of your life, big part of Pringle's life. You both are nerds.
Yeah.
I still like games. I like games. Don't worry. I mean, I'm still a part of that. But I want to expand it and really have like discussions. So I still want to do show notes. I still want to research the topics. So, for example, I know Pringle is in love with Dragon Quest as a franchise. So I was like, you know what? How about we actually take a week to research Dragon Quest, have Pringle give his input, and really talk about it. Like talk about everything Dragon Quest and dedicate an episode to Dragon Quest. And then next week, let's say you want to do whatever, Guilty Gear or I don't know, Life in Texas, whatever you want to do. And we'll put some show notes together and we'll talk about it and dedicate an episode to that. So whoever stumbles upon that episode in 3 years from now, they'll be like, oh, that was a cool listen. And I didn't lose anything by listening to it from instead of when it was recorded to 3 years in the future. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, that's what I've been wanting to do. And so the format of Ride to Orbis is changing, but the concept is still the same. What was Ride to Orbis in the beginning? It was basically a ride where you take a MapleStory, you go onto the ship, it's a bunch of strangers, people just talking, wasting time until you get to your destination. I still want to do that, but maybe not have it be exclusive to gaming. I want to open up the floodgates. We're talking about everything. OnlyFans,
sports.
What else is there? Sports. Oh, I'm talking about sports. So what I was going to do is I want us to have a voice in what topics we choose, but I also want to open up to the listeners of them having to bring up topics and, we'll compile enough of them. And you and I, Pringle, will sit down and be like, what do you want to do out of these fan topics? Or we'll put it out to a vote. And out of those fan topics, we'll be like, okay, what's the most interesting ones for you guys? And then we'll do a research on it. And you know what I was thinking also is for the weeks in which things don't work out. Like, for example, if we have a show scheduled for me, you, and Pringle, and you can't make it or Pringle can't make it or whatever, we can just do a podcast of just talking about what's going on with us. Like, what are we doing?
Exactly.
Like, stuff like that.
Exactly.
What we're doing today. So, yeah, what do you think about that?
I like it. I mean, I was going to say, like, today I got a new bank account, so I'm pretty happy. I have a place to put my money, so once I get paid, I actually have a place for it.
Why'd you switch? Or did you have one before?
I switched because of fraud. See, I got caught in a fraud situation, so I called the FTC about it. So they were like, okay, we'll
somebody stole your identity or just your bank account?
They stole my identity, so I called the FTC. Dude. Yeah, I called the FTC, and I'm getting it taken care of. So basically, I'm not gonna get punished by like all my bills, but it still sucks.
Do you know how it happened? Do you know like the source of possibly where it could have happened?
I went from having like $100 in my account to not having an account and having $0. So the struggle bus is real, but I mean, I have food in my fridge. I got $50 worth of gas in my tank, which is a full tank of gas. The third.
Did you check?
The third's coming.
Did you check your social? What do they call that? Credit score to make sure it didn't apply for anything.
Yeah, it did, but I mean, I'm basically tomorrow, or no, not tomorrow. After work on Monday, I'm gonna have to go call Equifax and tell Equifax to tell the other two that, hey, I got hacked. But
damn, dude, that sucks.
Oh well, life's a bitch, and I mean, I don't really care. It was $100 that was gonna be gone anyways. It wasn't really gonna help me.
Still, I mean, so somebody stealing your identity is way more than just what you have in your bank account, because now they can apply for credit cards in your name, and that dings your credit report, even if they don't get them.
Mm-hmm.
And they can apply for loans, and it's just bad. It's just, and then they can sell the, it's just a whole mess. It's a big mess. And then trying to recover all that is, like you're saying, it's a big hoopla of having to make phone calls and making sure everybody knows. And by the time you get all that stuff off your record, it's very time consuming. So it could really take you back. That sucks. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, it was bound to happen to somebody eventually. I mean, I'm not gonna cry spilt milk over it. Like, I have a job that's gonna pay well, so I have a
It's good.
source of income. I did do my what is it? I got a new bank account, even though it's like, oh hey, there is no, what's the word I'm looking for? You lose one account, I got another one. You know?
Like penalty?
Yeah. And this one is great because this one they gave me like $20 or I think $18 or $15 for ATM charges for a month. So like if I ever go do an ATM, I don't $15. You know how like the ATMs will charge you to pull money out?
From like non-network type of
Yeah.
ATMs? Okay.
So they gave me $15 per month. If I make 12 purchases a month, I get money back. Um, let's see here. If I have at least one, which I'll have two, direct deposit paychecks sent
Hmm.
straight to my bank account instead of having to go and say, here's my check from the week. Since I have two of those a month, I'll get another bonus so I don't have to worry about maintenance fees. Great. Because I remember when I was trying to look for a bank, they were like, "Oh, you need to have $500 in your bank account, otherwise you're going to get hit by maintenance fees." I was like, "There's no way to stop that." They're like, "Nope."
Yeah, get a different bank.
Yeah, and so I went to like several banks, and all of them had maintenance fees. That's why I went to a credit union. And then as soon as I went to a credit union, they're like, "Hey, here's what." They're like, "This is going to be a free account.
Hmm.
Um, here's your benefits. Are you going to have direct deposits anytime soon?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll have direct deposits." They're like, "Okay, cool. No fees or penalties because you have direct deposits. And, oh, here's benefits." And I was just like, "And this is all free?" They're like, "Yep." Why would I ever get a bank?
Yeah, that's true. I have a bank only because they had a promotion of whatever. If you put in so much money, uh, I think it was like if you put in like 2 grand within 3 months, they'll give you a grand. So I just like, yeah, sweet. I mean, it's free money. So I remember doing that, and I've kept that bank since. But I have some advice for you that I've learned over the years. I don't know if you're already doing this, but I guess this is good for the listeners as well. So I don't like swiping my debit card, which is the card that you get from the bank that pulls money straight from your checking account to whatever you're spending, right? So like let's say you're going to Target and you swipe $13 worth of stuff, it takes it directly from the sum that you have in your checking account.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like doing that because one, that's your money. That's directly linked to how much money you have. So I'm not a big believer in swiping debit cards because it's a lot easier to access your funds that way. So I don't even have a debit card. I exclusively use credit cards for everything, and then I pay everything off at the end of the month. So what I would suggest for you is to get a credit card or two, or and then just be responsible with them because people are so scared with credit cards with the fact that like, oh my God, there's all these fees and there's interest and all that. It's like, no, there isn't. If you pay everything at the end of the month, it's fine. And plus, you still get the same perks that you would get with a debit card, as you would get cash back or you get any sort of bonuses depending on what promotions they have. So I would highly recommend getting a credit card because one, it helps your credit score. Two, if you're responsible, it's actually a really good move. And three, that's not your money. So guess what? You go to Target, you swipe your credit card, it gets compromised. You'd be like, hey, Discover, the thing got compromised, fix it. Like that's not even my money. I owe you $13 worth of stuff, and somebody just hacked the credit card for 600. That wasn't me. Good luck. Go fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's your money in your bank account, you're like, oh no, I'm out $600. So for anybody who's listening, I'm a big supporter of credit cards. Same with alcohol, as long as you do it responsibly. but don't use it for like, oh my God, I want a PS5. It's like, no, can you afford the PS5? Can you pay it off at the end of the month? No, then don't buy it. But if you need to get gas, especially pumps, because if you'll find yourself in situations where people will, if they can, they will. They'll try to like con you or steal information from you. So that's why I like credit cards, because that's not my money. That's somebody else's money that I'm borrowing, and I'll pay you back at the end of the month. But I don't like putting my credit card out there. And yeah, I wouldn't even own a checkbook if my landlord wasn't super old school and required checks. I do everything online through a credit card and then pay it off at the end of the month. Just a tip. That's how I would go about things. The only bummer is that you don't usually have cash. So that's one thing, I guess. If you really wanted cash on you, you would need a debit card, so you can either go to somewhere that has cash back, or you go to an ATM. But you can always go to your bank and be like, hey, I want this amount without using a debit card, and they'll give it to you because you have your ID with you. You have everything that confirms it. That's who you are. So just as a boomer, somebody who has learned a little bit from mistakes, I'm trying to pass over the knowledge.
I might actually get a credit card then and start doing that then, and
Yeah.
just like. But the thing is that like, I fear like my biggest fear. This is my biggest fear for a reason. Is that because I don't make a lot of money and I always barely have any money. Is I fear like I'm gonna go overboard on the credit card, and then it's time to pay that credit card at the end of the month, and I'm like, ooh.
Well, you can always pay. So obviously, yeah, if you get into a pinch and you need to use it, then you can pay the minimum payment, but then they'll charge interest on whatever you compiled that month. So if you have a $300 credit card bill, and then at the end of the month they're like, well, your minimum payment's 25, and you pay 25, then they'll charge interest on the 275 that's left. So that's one thing you don't want to do. Now with $300, the interest is not that bad usually.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a $3,000 credit card bill and now they're charging interest on, if you paid 25 and you have 29.75 left and they're charging interest on that, that's really bad, because now you can't get caught up from you're only paying the interest. So again, you have to be responsible. I'm really scared about swiping my debit card anywhere, because that's my money, right? So if I have money in my checking account and I put my debit card out there, now they have free access to my debit card if they want to steal my information. But like I said, with a credit card, that's not my money. That's Discover's money. That's the Capital One's money. Like, that's not mine. That's yours. And so good luck finding whoever stole your money, and then call me back whenever you find the culprit, because I'm not paying that $600 that dude just swiped on. So that's the only thing that I'm wary about. And I've had it happen where my debit card got compromised, and I was in a similar situation. I was a broke college kid. I had $23 in my bank account, and my debit card got compromised, and I don't think they cleaned my account, but they swiped something. And then immediately when they swiped something, I just happened to look at my statement, and I was like, wait a second, where did this purchase come from? I didn't go there. So I called my bank immediately. I was like, oh man. Ever since then, after I was like 22, I stopped using debit cards. I was like, no, thanks. It's not worth it. Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Gotta listen to Coach Singletary. Don't do it.
Don't do it at all.
That's advice for the Zoomers listening to this. Which, listen, there's gonna be a culture change for Ride to Orbis. I'm telling you, we're gonna have a lot of people leave, and we might gain some new people, but it is what it is. I know I've noticed that too in Discord, where people have been leaving. We're changing things a little bit, and I think I stopped being as wary with how I was conducting myself. Not that I was disrespecting anybody, but I think I was silencing how I really feel about certain things. Which, by the way, TMP, the Max Spice podcast, is coming back, and it's coming back in a different tone. I'm about to get some stuff off my chest. I'm just telling you, like, it's about to get real. It's about to get real. But I want to do a bunch of those episodes of just me talking about random things. But for Ride to Orbis, guess what, buddy? The fighting game community is getting a Ride to Orbis episode, and we're diving deep, and we're talking about what I really feel about the fighting game community, because I think I've been tiptoeing the line, and since fighting games are the roots of this whole thing, we're talking about it, and it's gonna be fun. I'm just saying, our new catchphrase is really it's we're gonna have fun. That's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna have fun. I can't wait for Pringle to come back because he'll have fun too.
Well, I think another thing that we should talk about, honestly, is since we're just talking about like our day to day life. Uh, I got a new job. What about you?
Congrats. I've interviewed, so I quit my job because I hated my life, and then I took some time off, and I fell into a weird place where I was like, "Oh God, this is terrible."
Oh yeah.
So I wanted to go back to work, but I couldn't find the right job, and I didn't want any old job. I recently interviewed at a place where these two guys, they're like a little startup company, and they seem like just straight shooters. I really like their attitude. Some people you just know, you can tell by their demeanor, is like, I could work for that guy because he
Hmm.
would be, as long as you get mutual respect, that's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for, obviously, if you know way more than me, that's cool, but I'm at that point where, now that I'm almost 30, I just want respect, like just mutually respect. Like, I'm cool having a boss, but just don't take advantage. And this place, especially it being so small and being so specific with the line of work that they do, I think that would be a good match. So I interviewed on Thursday. I thought personally, and I'm not one to brag because I usually never nail interviews. I usually either fumble a little bit, or if I get nervous, or if I don't say the right thing, and then I'm in my car is like, shit, I should have said that at that moment. I was like, but the interview that I had with these two guys, I thought that was a home run. I thought I nailed that interview. I thought I did really well, and they seem to have been, warm to the idea. So they give me a call, and I was like, sweet. So we'll see what happens. I'll update.
Indeed.
I'm optimistic.
Which is the best thing you can be, is optimistic about like where your aspects are. I will say this, and this is not to like to brag or anything, but like every time I go to an interview, I don't know why. Even if I fumble, they're like, "You are a great interviewee" or something like that. I feel
Really,
like it's,
I could see that from you. I could see
and,
it.
and I feel like it's not me personally, like my skill set or anything. It's just that I just am good with talking with people. That they're like, "Oh, he was a great interviewee." Like, I guess it's mostly that because I fumbled a few interviews, and like every time afterward, they're like, "Hey, you're a great interview. I'm so glad to have you on board." I'm like, I fumbled the hell out of this. How the hell?
Hmm.
If you're glad that I'm gonna be on board, who you, who do you have that you don't want on this?
You know, I once stepped into an office that I had an interview for, and it was a job that I kind of wanted, but I also was like, oh, whatever. If they offered to me, I'll take it. But I wasn't like in love with the job, from what I read in the job description and all that.
Hmm.
And I knew I wasn't getting the job immediately when I walked into the dude's office. First of all, I didn't come in with like a suit and tie. I came in with whatever, like a dress shirt and jeans. And I didn't know there was like that type of atmosphere. I was like, oh, I mean, it's whatever. It's kind of like, I thought it was part office work, part field, stuff like that. So I was like, okay. So I came in with, some business casual, and everybody in there was like, suit and ties, and the women were dressed really, professional. And I was like, oh shit, I'm not getting this job. But I was already there, so I can't walk out. And I walked into this dude's office, and I shake his hand and I sit down. He's like, "Do you have a copy of your resume by chance?" I was like, "Oh, no, I don't. I didn't know I was supposed to bring one because normally they have your file in front of them already." He's like, "Why do
I
I need to bring
hate
a
when they
copy of
don't
mine?"
do that. Ah.
Yeah. So I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "There's no way." I was like, in my head, I was like, "Can we just not waste each other's time of me sitting here for 20 minutes answering questions you're not even gonna think about after I walk out that door. Let's just shake hands and let me leave, and I'll be like, all right, that was not good." But we still did the charade. You gotta do the interview charade. It was like, tell me about your experience. What do you think your best qualities are? What do you think you need to improve on? I was like, oh God, I need to improve on making my way out this door. Let me get out of here, dude.
I've had
Interviews are fun.
the worst interview I've ever had was the one where it's like, "Hey, we're gonna be a solo interview," and then like 3 minutes later, as soon as you're about to walk into the door, there's like 15 people here, and we're all
Ah,
interviewing at the
dude.
same time. I'm like, whatever happened to this? We're doing this solo. Well, we just want to cut the fat. We want to cut the fat, and we want to see who's the actual. I always get hired by these jobs, and I always feel terrible because I'm like, I only got here because I know how to fucking talk.
Dude, your
I
seating arrangement kills you with those interviews too.
yeah, but I finesse the hell out of these people, and that's about it. Like, I don't want to be here for any other reason. Like, 9 times out of 10, I'm only here for a paycheck, and like, once I start having a paycheck, I get paid enough to actually be happy, to like be okay with like not having enough money or something like that. Because at least I have a consistent. Because I've had it several times where like my friends will be like, "Hey, I need extra money. Can I take your shift?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead, take it. I don't need that money. I just need enough."
Right.
So sometimes I feel terrible. I'm like, I'm just here for the first paycheck. Like, honestly, if I got a second paycheck from you guys, whatever. But like, I'd be happier finding another job somewhere else because you just
Right.
like some of these people really need a job. I can go anywhere and get a job.
That's what it is. It's a job. It's not really a career. I've had a group interview when I was in college. I went to this place. I didn't know it was going to be a group interview. I thought I was just coming in for an interview
Mm-hmm.
to get a job. I was like, all I need is money for dog food and gas, because that's all I was doing. I had Dirk, and I was going to school, and I was like, dude, I'm good with Maruchan top ramen. I just need dog food and gas. So I go to this interview. And I didn't know it was going to be a group interview, and all of a sudden, all 5 of us go in there. And listen, I'm in the 5th seat, so I'm batting 5th. So the guy asks us questions, and the first girl answers, the second guy answers, the third girl answers, and then the fourth guy, I think, and then I'm last. And my answers were always dog shit because everybody took all the good answers. And this one guy, basically, I don't know why this was a part of the interview. He asked us something, I don't know, this is not verbatim, but he asked us something akin to, it was like, what do you think your purpose in life is? And I was like, whoa, dude, like we're 21 years old. And this one guy, he's like Samoan, super nice guy. I chatted him up by the water cooler before we all walked into the interview. And I was like, this dude's getting the job, because this dude started talking about his life story. And he's talking about like, well, I'm here and my sister is ill and my mom is working, and I just want to provide for them because they've given me such a wonderful life. I was like, I'm not getting this job. I'm not getting this job, dude. I was like, if I
The
were me, I would
heartstrings
give
were
that dude that
pulled.
job. Dude, he nailed the interview, and he was like the 2nd seat, and he had like the best answers. And I was like, this sucks. I am not getting this job.
I hate
And
whenever they do group interviews and they all give every other person a different like a different question to answer, because once they get to like you, they give you the shittiest question, and everyone else got this nice glorious answer. Like, question was like, for example, like let's say there's 5 people and the first person says, "Hey, how did you find this job?" Easy. Okay, nailed that question. And then by the time they get to you, they're like, "So, tell me, what is your weaknesses?" Why didn't you ask those fuckers?
right. I was like, yeah. They asked us all the same question, but you can only say the same thing so many times. So by the time they got to me, I was in the 5th seat. I was the last one. I was like, well, I can't copy everybody else. Because it was bad. It was bad. But that Samoan guy, I'm for sure he must have gotten the job. Because like, how do you not hire that guy with his sob story? And it wasn't a sob story. It was like actually a really heartfelt story. But I was like, man, like this is cheating. I was like, I'm just broke. But that dude's going through it. I was like, man. Oh well. But it's just part of life. You got to go through those interviews. I've gone through bad interviews. You know what? I had one where I really wanted this job. I was like, this would be great because I would not only move from Florida. I was living in Florida at the time, but I kind of moved, and the pay was great, and the job sounded great, and I had 2 virtual interviews, and then they flew me out to do an on-site interview. And I was like, oh man, you don't do this for somebody you're not going to hire. So I was ready. I was like starting looking for places, and I was like making plans. And then they're like, no. I was like, what? How do you go through 2 virtual interviews and you fly me out to actually go see the facility, meet everybody in the office, shake hands with my department supervisor, and go through this whole thing? And then they're like, we're sorry, we're going to go with other candidates. I was like, that's crazy. I was like, how many candidates have you flown in?
You know what I hate the most, by the way, when it comes to job interviews and job like searches, is that they've discovered they've done the math. Do you know that like resume hunters and like job like seekers or like job people, whatever the word is called,
The
recruiters,
recruiters? Yeah.
they give you like 3 seconds to look at your resume. If your resume doesn't catch your attention in 3 seconds, it's over. And nine times
Yeah.
out of 10, that's a resume they grabbed after an AI looked at that resume to see if it's like the job. That's
Mhm.
why I hate resumes, dude. Because like
Yeah.
nobody's reading the resume, and then people will bitch about like nobody wants to work, nobody wants to work. Meanwhile, that person has like 150 resumes that they threw away because the
You
AI
didn't have the
said
right keyword in there. Yeah.
didn't have the right keyword in it, and then they were too on. They're not going to be bothered to read anything. Like, are you sure? Are you sure you?
It takes a while to build a resume too. Like you can't just
Exactly.
put your high school and college and that's it. Like you need some sort of thing in there, the meat of what have you done, what's your experience. Luckily, I've been working for a while now, so I have like a pretty solid, like just a solid base of like this is what I can offer to companies. But it's still difficult. A lot of them want all like just random things, is like that I don't have. But it's I always say if you didn't get the job, it's probably not meant to be. You'll find something else. And that's happened to me before. Sometimes I would hear things about, well, like way later, there was a company that I really wanted to work for because I thought their benefits were great and I thought the pay was, although it was okay, I thought I could work up and make more. And then just by chance, I worked with this one guy at a different place and he told me, "Oh, I just came from that place. That place sucks." I was like, "Oh man, the
It's
from the
always
surface,
it's
from the
always from the
exterior, it looks
service.
so
Yeah.
good. Look, yeah, man,
I also love how like anytime I go to a job or something like that, I'll hear somebody say, "This place is gonna suck and you're gonna hate it," and I'm like, "I haven't even gotten the job yet. What do you mean?" And they're like, "You're gonna hate it," and I'm like, "Well, I'm glad that that's true, but like I still need the money.
mm,
But now I'm gonna have the money and be miserable. Thank you. Like, let me just be
see,
miserable 5 months later when I actually hate this job."
I've had jobs. I've literally stayed at jobs that I didn't like because my coworkers were really cool. Like that's one thing that'll make a lot of employees stay is if one, if you have a good supervisor, and two, if you enjoy the people you're working with, you'll tolerate a lot of the work. And then the opposite. A lot of times the job will be great, but if you have a bad supervisor and you have bad employees that you're spending a lot of time with, that'll make you quit. Like I've had that before where I loved my job before, but I had this one supervisor who was directly in charge of me and another guy, and she was so micromanaging. And I was like, I can't handle this every day. Like, I can't have you over my shoulder with a magnifying glass looking at every single letter I write up in this email. Or this report or whatever. It was just exhausting. So by the time 5 o'clock came around the corner, I was like, man, I felt like I've been here for 12 hours. I ended up leaving that place. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, oh, good. Worked out. Sweet. But job search is it's 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 rough, especially when you're younger. If you don't have like a degree in something specific, like a specific field,
Mm-hmm.
and you still don't really know what you want to do, you just kind of fall into these random jobs, random trades. That's what happened to me. And eventually I kind of just fell in love with one specific trade. And I was like, I could see myself doing this for a while. This is interesting. But not everybody's fortunate. So you just gotta kind of look around, you gotta shop. Be like, okay, let me try this for a while. And then let me try that. And then don't worry about having a lot of experiences because eventually you'll find something. So if you're younger and you're listening to this and you didn't go to college, or if you went to like a 2-year university like me, and you're like, I don't want to do 4 year, and you don't really have a specific passion for a specific trade, don't worry, you'll find it. It's out there. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what's been going on with me outside of my darkness retreat. For a while there, I was just like not doing anything, and I was just thinking. That's the worst place to be, is when you're in your own head because it's tough to get out. I was just like, oh man.
Dude, you have no idea how many times I've been in my own head.
It's brutal. You don't want to get there. You really don't. But sometimes it's good because it helps you like figure some things out, especially if you're going through some stuff. But sometimes you don't really know what you're going through, and then you're on your own head, and it just keeps revolving to, oh man, just keeps getting to that point. I was like, man, I don't even know. You know, the horse with the ocean, where he's just looking at it. He's like, man,
Yep.
that's where it gets to. I was like, I don't even know, man. It's just like I don't know if I'm sad or if I'm happy, if I'm angry at somebody. I'm just in this weird, just vortex of just, just darkness and just like, I don't know, dude. It's been weird.
Dude.
But yeah.
I told you I started taking depression medication, and I just forget nowadays to take it.
You did? When'd you start this?
Like 3 months ago, last year. And then what's
Hmm.
funny is that I just forget to take it, and so like every now and then I'll just pick up, like I'll just open my mailbox, like once a month I open my mailbox, and I'm just like, well, there's 3 pills, like there's 3 pill boxes in here. Whoops.
Wait, you have a prescription and you don't take your medicine?
I just
Wait, I
forget.
mean,
I just forget, honestly. It's one
how
of
do you
those
how do you
things.
feel when you're not on it?
The same as when I'm on it. It's just that I
So
don't
why
know.
even take it?
Because sometimes it does give me like the motivation to not be in bed. Because like I've gotten to the point where there are days where I just can't get out of bed, and I'm just like I'm stuck here. This is my day. It's just me in here in bed. And so like the medication kind of says you can get off the bed at least, you know.
Are you sure that's a medication or that's just your will?
It's I guess it's a little bit of both. Like it gives my will enough to be like just get off the bed. Just get out of the bed. He's like
Hmm.
I had to take it because I've been hating those moments where I'm just like I can't get off this bed because this is my life and this is where I'm gonna be. It sucks, dude. It
Bro,
is.
I've been there. I've been there too. I've been there.
It sucks, dude. Like I cannot tell to all the listeners of this stream and to all the listeners of the podcast after when it comes out. I'm letting you know right now, depression sucks, dude. When you're stuck in your bed because all you want to do is just stay in your bed and you don't even have the willpower to get out. Uh, I wouldn't
You
wish
want
this on
a little
anyone.
pro tip? Little pro tip. And this doesn't work for everybody, obviously, but it could help. Is open the curtains. Like get rid of any curtains you have. Let the sun in, and then drink water, and then slowly but surely just inch your way
Off the
out of the
bed.
bed.
oh,
Get get rid of the covers so you're cold. Make yourself uncomfortable in the bed, but
you're
definitely let
right.
light in because
You're
I think
right.
if it's dark, you're gonna not want to leave. So let the light in. Follow the light, Broken. Not that way, but yeah, definitely let the light. I've been there. I've been there. Dude, when Dirk died, I was like, God, I don't know. It's like shit. I'm like, what's the point?
Dude,
I'm
that's
like, what's
why
the point?
like it's sad because I'm like I need a cat or a dog in my life, but then I'm like when that cat and dog dies, if I'm not married, if I don't have any like anybody with me, I'm going to go into a dark hole that I can never recover from.
That's rough. See, you think you'll never recover from, but eventually, with time, you do. It's just it's different. It just hits a little different when you're used to doing things. Especially, I had a dog for like almost 10 years. I'm so accustomed to and used to doing certain things that are accompanied by a dog that now when I don't do them, it feels weird. Like
The phantom
going to walk
pain.
on nature trails without a dog, I'm like, I feel like a pervert. Like, I'm like, what am I doing out here? Because there's other people and they're looking at me, and I'm like, I hope they don't think I'm just out here like looking at joggers because I feel unnatural because I don't
Yeah,
have the dog. I don't know.
exactly. It's the phantom pain, you know?
Yeah, it's it's weird, and I don't like listening to podcasts on nature trails because the whole point of going out there is listening to nature. So you're just
Yeah.
walking, but I feel out of place because I don't have the dog. It's just it's weird. I don't know. Been thinking about that. Now that it's getting a little warmer, I can revisit the nature trails. We were getting hit with some cold weather here, so
Yeah, I will say this. If I get a dog, I'd be walking all the time, but then I'd be like, oh boy, I feel terrible. Well, the thing I'd hate is that I'd feel terrible like locking a puppy in a small apartment room and then it waiting for me until I get off work to like, you know,
Yeah, eventually they get accustomed to it. I went through that when I kennel trained Dirk, and it takes a little while, but eventually they become accustomed to your schedule, to your sleeping habits, and then they basically mimic what you do on a daily basis. So if they're used to going on a walk at 4 o'clock, guess what? They're gonna make you go on a walk at 4 o'clock. And if they're used to eating at 7 a.m., are gonna want to eat at 7 a.m. So it definitely helps. If you need structure or a schedule, that'll help. Like it does help. I really did enjoy that part where, regardless of what I was doing back when I had Dirk, I could have been single. I could have had a girlfriend. I could have had a different job. I could have had a different hobby or whatever. I always had that consistency. I was okay. I know what I'm doing in these time slots. I need to wake up at this time because he has to eat. I know he needs to go outside. This is when he expects to go to the dog park, and it was nice. It was very nice having that structure, and it just becomes a part of your daily routine. So I'm very pro pet. I like it. I mean, I don't have one now because my apartment doesn't allow any,
Hmm.
but I think I'm probably getting to that point where I would like to adopt another one.
You know what I hate about apartments that tell you can't have? Every apartment I've been to, you can't have a pet. I'll go like 3 steps, and like all the neighbors have pets.
Just breaking the rules.
Motherfucker, right? This neighbor right here is a freaking cat lady.
Oh god, how many cats?
I don't know, but every day, like every now and then, I'll look at through her window, like while I'm walking by, and I'm like, that's another cat. That's a different cat than the last one I saw. How many are in this house? How many are here?
Man, we have a cat lady, but she doesn't bring them inside. We have a bunch of alley cats. They're a bunch of strays, and she feeds them right by the
Oh.
dumpster every day. Yeah, it's annoying because they meow and they show up.
Hey, I'd
I'm
rather
a
have
big
cats
fan.
meowing, keeping me up than police sirens every now and then.
That's true. That's true.
I,
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't. I feel terrible every time we're in a podcast or I'm streaming, and then all of a sudden, near, 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 near. I'm like, bro, I'm sorry, I live in a poor neighborhood.
you
I'll be
can't
like,
control it. Listen, you don't get. You're preaching to the choir. I live in St. Louis, so I hear it a lot, and I think I've just been lucky in the fact that the mic doesn't pick it up, but it does happen here,
bro,
especially in St. Louis,
I don't. I
the
hope the
murder
mic
capital
doesn't.
of the world.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hope it doesn't pick up on my mic, but like, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and you know it. The moment it's 3 o'clock, you just look outside, and then all of a sudden, like I don't even have to. I don't even have to have that open. Those are gonna
Mm.
turn blue and red, and I'm just like, oh god damn it, here it comes. Fuck
Are you on the
me.
first floor or second floor?
Second, which is
Second floor.
even worse,
Yeah.
because then I have to hear it and look at it.
Yeah, the light reflects too. So
It's the worst.
structures.
Exactly.
Oh man. Yeah, I've it's been pretty quiet here. Although the other night,
Uh
I'm
oh.
pretty sure I heard a guy get his car jacked. It was like really early in the morning. It was like 4 a.m. And a lot of people out here have dogs in their backyards. So this dog is going crazy. He's just barking up a storm, and he's normally pretty quiet, but apparently the reason why he was barking up a storm is because somebody was getting his car jacked. So all of a sudden I just hear like a loud thump, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, what was that? And then maybe the dog started barking, and then maybe like 30 seconds later, you just hear a guy just wheeling out, like, I was like, oh dude, somebody just stole a car. I bet you it's one of those Kias or whatever. They're easy to break into.
Yeah. Can't.
R.I.P. to that guy. He should have listened to his dog instead of being like,
R.I.P.
hey, man, that dude was peeling out. No way they found him.
Nope. No way.
Why are you going to have a dog outside to warn you that there's going to be a thief if you're not? I mean, this is Missouri. People carry guns. So it's like, what are you going to do? Like, you're just going to let a guy just steal your ride? That's one thing with car alarms. I don't know what mine sounds like, and I don't really want to know what mine sounds like. But every time an alarm goes off, I was like, is that me? I don't know. How would I know unless it happened? So I go look outside. I was like, oh, it's not my car. So,
Hmm.
but
That's one of the things that I fear the most is that like I forget to lock my car all the time, and then like one day
mm,
I had my apartment manager be like, "Are you gonna close your car door?" And I was like, "What?" And like, ah, shit, I forgot to close the door after I left HEB. So
right.
like, I'm
And you got it,
lucky.
especially where you're living.
Yeah, and I'm lucky that like my neighbor is one of the people that works at the apartment, and he watches out for me. He knows what my car is. He knows where I live. He knows like all this. So like every now and then he'll just be like, "Hey, bud, something happened or this or that," and like I'm just so forgetful, dude. I'm so forgetful, but like
Man, you gotta be careful with that stuff.
I'm just lucky that these guys are vigilant, and they'll just be like, "Hey, man," because like I've had several days where I just get a, "Hey, man, someone was looking at your car.
Mm.
You want to just look at it real quick?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, sure." And I go in there, and there's sure enough, there's homeless dudes looking at it, and the door's unlocked, and so I just got to be like, "Hey, bud, wrong car."
Yeah.
And then I gotta lock the door as soon as that guy walks away, and I gotta check the car to see if anything got stolen. Luckily, nothing ever does, but you know.
Man. Yeah, you gotta be careful, especially if you live in those certain areas. You gotta watch out. There's especially listen, lock your door. Like that's the biggest thing. Is like there's a detective. I think I heard this on a podcast. There's a detective who he wanted to learn more about serial killers, like what makes them tick,
Uh-huh.
and like why did they commit the crimes that they do. So he decided to go to prison where they've locked up a bunch of these serial killers, and the first one that he interviewed, he's trying to get into his head, like why is he doing it? He's like, how did you choose your victims? He's like, well, I would go to these apartment complexes and I would just try to open the door, and if it was open, then I would kill everybody in there. I was like, so really, it's convenience. So lock your door because that could deter somebody killing you or not.
Oh.
Eventually, he couldn't find like a pattern of why serial killers kill people.
Mm-hmm.
It's too random. They have too many different reasons. Sometimes it's literally because the door was unlocked.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep. I remember. Oh man, this is the most insane thing I think I could ever hear. Was that like when I was in criminal justice class, they were like, dude, people were looking up this criminal gene, trying to see like what is in a person that causes them to be a villain, or what causes them to do criminal acts. And then they're like, after years upon years of doing human like experiments on people, they found out people just do shit because they just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens with people that steal too. It's like a lot of times why people steal, especially from whatever, like department stores or clothing stores or whatever, is because they can. That's a big thing with human nature. If you give somebody the opportunity to do something, they will do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of time. They were actually rooting that all the way. Oh, this is one way to end the podcast, I guess. But look, they were. So if there is an option for slavery, people will own slave, and that's been documented throughout the world. Like not just America.
I hate how you're so correct about that, because like I remember one time I was just randomly like just having a good day at work, and then all of a sudden all I hear was, "You're such a wonderful person. I'd love to have you as a slave." You don't tell that to you don't just say that randomly, dude.
Who said that? Who said that?
Some random
Describe the person.
I can't, because it was months ago while I was
man or woman?
It was a man.
Ugh, weird.
And that was during the time I was at a bar with fucking stripper ass women all over the place. Like, you tell me of all the people
you said
in
you'd make
here.
a great slave?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's weird. I could see if a woman told you that, you could be like, okay, she might have been flirting. That could have been. I could twist it to being like she might have been trying to flirt, but she's really bad at it.
I can't even twist that, because, and the problem is that like I'm in a Hooters basically. There's women like scantily clad all around me, and you say that to me? Okie dokie. I'm literally all my job is right now is to entertain you and to clean the bartender's like mess. That's it. I'm not even serving you drinks. Yeah. I've just been saying nice things to you.
Older guy, younger guy?
Cups. Oh, older guy.
Of course, yeah. Creep.
I'm just like,
lock your door, buddy. Like,
I lived in a different city from that, so like, they ain't coming. There's no way.
Yeah.
But still, I was just like, ugh.
Yeah, that's a rule of thumb, though. If people, that's a human thing. If they have the ability to, They will. Like, so
Be a
whenever there's a
fucking
time
weirdo.
where, well, no, especially with slavery, like if slaves were available, people are gonna have slaves. Like that's gonna be a thing forever. So luckily, it's not available anymore, but it's available through other means. Like now they technically pay you, but we're all still slaves. We're still slaving for a paycheck.
Exactly.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Broken. Oh
Well,
man,
it was a. I gotta say, this is a great start to
indeed.
a new episode.
Yeah, this won't be the norm, hopefully, for every single episode, but for this is kind of what I want to do for whenever things break down. We'll pick it up apart, like just like this, and we'll just start talking about random stuff. And if people like it, cool. And if they don't, they can listen to an episode that when it's more structured or whatever. So, again, to recap, we're changing things. We're gonna be moving a bit from the current daily things that we're talking about, and gonna be focusing on one specific topic per week, and then also have these kind of random podcasts where we're just talking about what we're doing and talking about some stories. But yeah, I think it would be a good way to, one, I would like to mature our audience a bit, because I found that we have a pretty young audience, and unfortunately I can't cater to those people anymore because I'm a boomer. Like, I kind of want to talk about boomer things, and so that's one thing that I've been thinking about is as much as I like games and fighting games and all that, I think I want to expand. So that's something I've been thinking about. And two, yeah, it just gives us more options to do more cool things and timeless content. That's what I want. Timeless listening. So if you listen to this 3 years from now, hopefully you get something out of it, because I think we have a lot of stuff out there in the archive, especially with FGC Hollywood and Right to Orbis. Is that if you listen to it like a year from now, you're like, oh, well, I don't know. That's something that happened and it was bigger at the time, but now I don't really care. So, it's kind of what I want to do. Hopefully people like it. And if they do, cool, they can join us. We have our Discord. I don't have Twitter anymore. I have my whole Twitter story, and I'll talk about it. I'll probably on a TMP or whatever, but you can still at you on Twitter and at Pringle on Twitter.
I mean, I got added today, actually. I got added by Lozzie. He got
Lozzie? Yeah.
He got blocked by Max. Maximilian.
Yeah.
So
RIP.
RIP.
He joined this. So he joined our Discord because he couldn't find me on Twitter. So he's like, oh.
Fantastic.
You want to know something fun? And I don't know. I was thinking of keeping my account so there won't be any imposters of trying to But I was like, whatever. If there are, I don't care. If they want to start beef for me, that's fine. I don't care. But try to put Mac Splicer on Twitter. You'll get an Asian chick, and she's called Splicer Mac. I swear to God, they're already on it.
Hold on.
Everybody listening, if you have Twitter, put in Mac Splicer on Twitter. It's an Asian chick. And her name is Splicer Mac. I swear to God.
And
when did she join?
She joined in January 2023. And what the heck is this? Hashtag free Shenqing Gyo?
Bruh, it's fucked up.
What the fuck is this?
I know. So it's some sort of bot. So I'm sure when my account becomes available, because I quit, I don't know, the beginning of this month. So they they deactivate your account for 30 days. And after the 30-day period, your tag or your @ becomes available. I guarantee you somebody's going to take Max Splicer once it becomes available, and it's going to become some bot account or something like that. So, yeah, weird, right?
Yep, weird.
So, Splicer Mac, she's out there. She's putting in that work.
With 0 tweets.
With 0 tweets. Selling Bitcoin or whatever. I don't know what she's doing.
Well. Oh, well. I'm not even going to ask. I'll never ask.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, one last thing. Next week is our, I don't think I forgot. It's the River City Girl spoiler cast. We didn't forget that. So we're coming back to that.
Let's go.
We're coming back to that.
And then after that, we have another game that we're going to have to do together.
Which one?
Whichever the community wants.
Yeah, that's true. So that's what I was going to talk about. So spoiler casts aren't going anywhere. We're still going to be talking about games, and spoiler casts are going to be a part of it. If you want to know everything, because I'm really bad at explaining things off the cuff, especially without show notes. If you want to know everything that's been going on, The post on Patreon is public, so you can read everything that I wrote there. If you want to go to our Discord, it's also on there. Or if you just want to join and ask me and I can actually tell you, that's probably better. But as if you care. If you don't, then just enjoy the ride. We're going to be right into the orbises. Orbian. It's Orbian. What was it? Orbian?
It's
Orbit time.
Orbit time, yeah, it's orbit time.
It's orbit time.
Orbius. I used to call it Orbius too.
Orbius.
Ride to Orbius.
Ride to Orbius. We're out here. We're coming. But hopefully Pringle can join us on the River City Girls podcast next week. And yeah, we'll update you throughout the way about what we're doing. And yeah, it should be fun. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this new format. And hey, if you like it, cool. If you don't, there are plenty of other podcasts out there you can listen to. If you need recommendations, I got some. So holler at me.
And hey, congrats. You just listened to, how long have we been streaming? A 2-hour.
Well, only about an hour.
Yeah, you're right. You've listened to an hour-long podcast while playing your video games. Because I know, don't even try to pretend that you just are listening to the podcast. You're doing something along, okay?
No, who listens to just a podcast? You got to be doing something in the background.
Exactly.
You're on your phone. You're just swiping left or right on Tinder. She's like, oh, I love her.
Oh my God, don't do it, guys. Don't fall for it.
Swipe left. Swipe left. She's a bot.
Bro.
Oh,
she ain't worth it, dog.
She ain't. All right, fellas, that's all we have. And ladies, the one lady, that's all we have for y'all.
0.3
Right to Orbis. Yeah, the 0.3, just the left arm and the boob. That's all we got.
Side boob goes hard.
Yeah. No, she's out there. She's representing. We'll be back next week with episode 15, River City Girls spoiler cast. Hopefully, Pringle the One is here to join us on that. My name is Max Pleiser. That was Broken Wing, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace. And there it is, folks.
There it is. One thing, I gotta bring this up by Pringle too. Now that you're doing your Guilty Gear tournaments on Thursdays, should we move the podcast back to Saturdays?
Fridays.
Oh, Fridays.
They're Fridays.
So, is Thursday still a good day, or should we do Saturdays?
Thursday should be a good day.
Should still good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And it's
I
every
totally
other
forgot
Friday.
That it was Friday. Okay. All right. Yeah, I was wondering because I was like, oh yeah, he's got that tournament. So, I don't know why I thought yesterday was Thursday. Why
if
didn't we do
yesterday
it on
was
Thursday?
I would have been. Oh, because what was it?
Oh, Pringle couldn't. Yeah, we can reach him.
Yeah,
we can reach him.
Pringle.
Yeah. And then today, it's just so funny. Today he was like, I should be good in around 3 hours. And then he was like, maybe not.
Never mind.
I was like, actually, scratch that.
Exactly.
And then I don't think he ever replied to us, did he?
No, never did.
He said, actually, maybe not. And that's it.
Meanwhile, I'm out here losing on stream when everybody finally comes on my Magic the Gathering stream. Oh,
yeah,
hey!
Rip, dude.
Meanwhile, the stream was going for like 5 hours. Y'all could have come watch me on a win streak. No, everyone joins in as soon as I'm on a losing streak. That's a fantastic time. It's always
That's true.
It's always
when I joined, you went 0-2. Because you won the first match and then you lost the last two, right?
No, I lost the first match, won the second match, and then lost the third match.
Oh, you won the second?
Yeah, I won the second. Yeah, dude.
Okay. All right.
I'm telling you, dude. Magic is one of those games. I won a game literally playing one card, and it was on my first turn because I had a mana, so I put a mana card down, and then I was like, oh, I have a card that only needs 1 mana. Put it down. I literally see his avatar explode, and I was like, bro, the game hasn't even started.
Damn.
I can't even do anything right now. Why?
But when do you start your job? Monday?
No, I've started already.
Oh, so you're already on.
Yeah, I'm on the payroll.
How long is the training period?
2 weeks. And during those 2 weeks, I can't like take time off or be gone or anything.
So this coming week is your second week?
Mm-hmm.
And you get to make your own hours, or do you have to like be online for a certain block?
I can make my own hours between the hours of 9 to 9, and I have to get 40 hours a week.
Okay, cool.
So if I wanted to, let's say Evo's happening, and I need to have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I can work. Oh, and also the next Monday, so that I have time to come back. I can work 10 hours during Monday through Thursday, and then have tell my boss, hey, I did my 40. Can I just have Friday off? Sure, go ahead. And then be
Or
like,
you
oh
would you
hey, and then I'll come next week. I'll work Tuesday through Friday for 10 hours so that I can make it up because I'm probably gonna come back on Monday. They'll be like, sure. As long as you make your 40 hours a week, you're fine. You're golden, and you have the hours between 9 to 9 to do it.
could you do? I mean, this might be a lot because it's going to be very long days. But could you do 12, 12, 12, and 4?
I could, but would I want to?
Yeah. But then you would only be working 3 full days, 1
Like
partial day.
partial day, yeah. But like, God, I'd hate myself.
Yeah, it would suck. Maybe 4 10s would be better, right?
Yeah, 4 10s would
I
be
think
better.
so. 3 day weekend.
But that is, I'm obviously gonna work 9 to 5, unless
Oh,
a
okay.
tournament I mean, unless I'm going to be moving to like a tournament, like Hey Evo, Combo Breaker, or something like that. But other than that,
Yeah. Well, by that time you should have enough senior or not enough
yeah, I should have
time
enough
there where you can
seniority
take
where
time
like, yeah, I
off.
could take PTO.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. That's neat. How are you? Are you confident with your selling skills?
What I can talk, I can talk someone's head off, like forever.
But what about like pitching a product?
That's easy. I don't have to pitch them a product. I'm only calling them to make the sell because they already had interest in the product. I'm basically just tying the knot. That's my whole job, is tying the knot.
Hmm. You got a script and everything, or just off the cuff?
Kinda, there's a script. Like T-Mobile wants you to say these words, but like again, it's just, hey, you were at T-Mobile before. We ran the numbers. You're a great customer. What? Why didn't you make the sale? Hey, I can run this by you. Cool. Here's your phone. You'll see in 3 days. Thank you.
So you're selling plans or actual phones?
I'm selling both.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yep.
I've never gotten a phone call from T-Mobile. I don't believe.
Well, did you ever go to T-Mobile and like get anything done? Like, did you get your information
No, but they can find that stuff, if they really wanted to. Because you know how it is. Sprint sells it to Verizon. Verizon sells it to
Well,
AT and
yeah.
T.
But again, the only reason why I'm doing this is because they came to the store or they went on the line, and they almost made the sale, but then they just didn't. And so
Interesting.
T-Mobile will send us a group of numbers and be like, hey, these people didn't finish the task. Make a sale.
Man, you're about to talk to hella old people or hella boomers. They couldn't figure out how to do it online. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, I'll just do it over the phone.
Yep. It's
Man.
gonna be great.
And do you have? Because I think Pringle does. Do you have like a not a moderator? I forget what they're called, but like somebody who's on the call with you, like they can listen into your call.
Yep.
Yeah. So they can give you pointers.
Exactly.
That's nerve-wracking work for me. I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd just be nervous because I knew my supervisor was listening on the line with me. I'm like, mom spaghetti. I wouldn't be able to do it. I like working independently. Like I don't like a lot of people watching me do my work because I think that's when I actually work the best. Micromanaging, I can't do it. Can't do it.
Can't do it.
By the way, I think I just witnessed the most insane take on Twitter.
Of course. Every day there's the most insane take on Twitter.
I'm just gonna.
What kind of monkey shit is this?
I'm just gonna get send this to you,
Okay.
and I wanna see what you think.
Really disappointed with the redesign of my waifu forever Cammy in Street Fighter 6. No pigtails, wearing pants, greatly reduced booty shape. in size from Street Fighter 5. Reduced breast size from 4 and 5. They kept duck lips for Street Fighter 5.
Bro,
She does look. She looks made out of plastic. He looks like an Instagram model that had like a bunch of plastic surgery.
okay, but dude, I'm telling you, during that state of play moment, the moment they showed Cammy, there's like 5,000 art pieces about her, dog.
Oh yeah. I like her jacket. Her jacket's cool.
I don't, because it reminds me of Axel,
Oh,
and that she's
looks-
British.
She do be British. The duck lips are fucking stupid though.
I do like her personalities. I hate everything. I like cats.
Yeah, she is. I never liked Cammy as a
Character.
character.
I just
like,
think it's
as
kind
a-
of stupid that like her whole like her whole arc now is that like she's always hated everything, but she loves cats. So now that she's probably 40 and single, I guess she's a cat lady now. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
bro.
She's always been a very distant character. Like she's not like super. I don't know how to say it. Like I don't want to say likable, but like.
Mhm.
She's not like an endearing character. I never liked Cammy for her personality. I was like, it's Cammy. It's just like she's not a bitch, but she's not sweet either. She's like in that in between.
She's a robot with with nice titties. That's literally all she is.
Yeah, she's very robotic. I never really liked her. I was like, she doesn't have any spice, no personality. I was just like, I never really liked Cammy. She was always like about business. And I'm like, that's cool, but like it's boring.
And now she's 40 and alone still because all it was she was about business. And
So you
I
get.
guess she's a cat lady now. Congrats, folks. We've done it. We've turned our waifus into cat ladies.
What are those pants she's wearing? Those are yoga pants?
Yeah, and it works because you know what? It's been about time. I think leotards look like ass.
Yeah, they do. But I mean, I don't know. You could definitely tell that these Capcom people are going on Instagram and be like, oh, where are the most likes going? And they go to like, the model that has the most likes, and they just be like, oh, well, she's got this kind of body. Let's give it to Cammy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to be fair, like they straight up said, "Hey, we're gonna give what is it? We're gonna give Jury fans everything. Like, oh hey, you want to see Jury super almost naked and also like all her feet? Well, congrats, she's feet lady now. You get your wish."
Yeah.
So
Which I think is like, I don't know. Not a fan. I do like Jury's costume, but the whole feet thing, especially on the character select screen thing, is just weird to me.
which is
Not a
great
fan.
for me because of one reason. I can change my. This is a new challenger to her face and not her looking at her feet. Weird stuff.
Jury doesn't look that much older compared to her previous version. How old is Jury?
Jury's around the same age as Cammy and stuff.
Nah, she's not 40. There's no way. Let me look it up. I'm gonna say she's like what, 26?
Kinda. No.
Jury Han.
I don't know.
Jury is 25 years old. Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, so Street Fighter 6 is after 3. So. Which is great. I'm actually This is going to sound weird. I'm actually happy that we're finally getting past Third Strike, dude. You know?
Doesn't say how old Cammy is, just gives her birth date. Probably doesn't say Chun-Li's age either.
Well, they'll never tell you what Chun-Li's age is.
Oh no, they do. 1968.
No. She's so they said that, but like the ages of those ages are not real. So like their age canonically in game Street Fighter 6 is this. It's not actually based off of like that because then I think what is it? Ryu would be like 60 or 80 at this point, and he's still fighting, looking
Let me
like
see if
that.
they have.
No, they've already said it in an interview that like those years are not like how old the person is now.
Ryu. See how old they have him on here. They have 1964, but he's 34 years old in Third Strike.
Mm-hmm.
What's the how many years between Third Strike and 6? You know?
I don't know yet. It may be like 3, 4, 5 years.
That's it. Chun Li looks old. I guess you could also tell by how old her little student is, or too, right?
Mm-hmm.
No DiCaprio. I'm sad.
Oh well. We didn't get DiCaprio last time.
The best doll.
DiCaprio.
That's the only time I like Cammy is when she's in DiCaprio mode.
Honestly, I think the other dolls are better than Cammy. Because the other dolls have personalities.
Right, yeah. That's why I like DiCaprio, because she shows something.
Like Cammy is just down to business. Meanwhile, like we got super nerd girl, we got a girl with a megaphone who just yells and it's like, "I'm super quirky." And I'm like, "Hey, at least you have a situation or something."
You got a girl that does the dab, and then
Yeah, exactly.
she's got a scar and a mask, and she's hates bison because she remembers.
Well, to be fair, what they did to DiCaprio was fucked up. They literally just like cut her eye out, gave her like a shit ton of psycho power, and were like, "Here you go." Oh, whoa, whoops, wrong message.
What happened?
Oh no, luckily it didn't go through, so we're good.
Man, I saw a thing. I didn't get to it in time. What was it?
I have a friend group that we send each other memes, and it was a risque meme that I wanted to send them, and then I was like, "Oh, whoops,
Uh-oh.
wrong Discord channel."
Wrong audience.
This is not the
more of a
same.
degenerate audience.
Yeah, this is for the degenerates out there.
What are you doing Sunday?
Probably gonna visit family after
Nice.
they get off of after they get out of church.
You don't go to church with them?
Nope.
You're a heathen.
No, and it's funny
Heathen
that they actually have to drive all the way to where I am to go to church, and I just don't go because I'm like, I'm asleep, dog. I am not waking up too early to go to church.
Just meet them at like a breakfast diner after they come out. You're like,
I
let's
mean,
have breakfast.
To be fair, back in like when I had a serving job, of course I was gonna be asleep. I either work that morning, or I'm asleep because I'm working the night shift on a Sunday. Like, no,
Right.
I'm not gonna go to church on Sunday. And then they will be like, "Well, you have Wednesdays off, and you can go to church on Wednesday." And I'm like, "Can I have one day to myself?"
Yeah.
Oh well.
You don't? Do they mind that you don't go?
Kinda. They really don't like it, but like, they understand.
I mean, you're 28. At that point, they're like, can't do much about it, you know.
Like, there's gonna be a point where I do go to church, but it's like on my time, on my terms, not when they
Could
force
meet a
me.
cute girl.
No.
No. Not
Every church I go to is filled with white girls that like are super racist and super conservative. And I'm that one black guy in the audience.
Man.
Spot the person that's not here, normal here.
Like, just tell them like, hey, I'm mixed.
I always tell them I'm mixed, and yet I get strange looks from across the aisle. Just like,
They're not good girls too. They're just pretending to be good girls.
exactly. And then they make the most whack statements like, if he loves you more than he loves God, he's not the one for you.
can't trust these. What's the number for hose?
I don't know, but
There's
Bro-
like a number.
bro, I saw a video where it's like, if he puts you above God, then he's not.
304?
Uh,
Isn't it 304?
I think it's 304. Yeah,
Can't trust these 304s.
I think it'd actually be 5304 because the 5 is S, E is 3.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
forget. Now I gotta look it up. Why are hose 304?
because
Keep going.
if you want to spell hoe, you use 304 and then you turn it around, and it makes the 4 is an H, 0 is an O, and 3 is E.
Oh, 304 upside down in a calculator looks like hoe.
Yeah, that's why I said you would actually use 5304, because if you turn the 5 into an S.
If it was hose, yeah.
Yeah,
If it
so
was hose.
5304. Can't touch these 5304s.
Watch out for them 304s.
Yeah, I literally like wanted to throw myself out of a roof when I heard some girl say that from a church. She's like, if he puts you above God, then he's not for you.
Yeah. You don't want to be with
Bitch!
a Bible thumper either. Yeah. That's too much.
I'm glad we're off the podcast because I just said bitch loud. Oh well, there goes my monetization on YouTube.
True. Yeah, they're. And what's her face left?
Yeah.
See, it's gonna get worse.
Wookie
It's gonna get
Tiki,
way worse.
because they what's their name? What's his name? Mr. NFT guy said I'm gonna turn YouTube into a Web3 platform or something. I love NFTs. Okay, cool.
It's gonna get bad. You already know that's gonna get really bad. I mean, the same people that made all those whack decisions, like getting rid of the dislike button and changing the monetization terms of service and all this other stuff. Now they're the ones that are running YouTube full time, which is, oh my god,
Yep.
terrible. R.I.P. Dude, I did not calculate when we were gonna do the podcast, so I came back from my dad's and I was like, man, I probably should take something out from the freezer because I'll be hungry after the podcast. And I was like, I'll be fine. And now I'm hungry and I ain't got no food.
Told you.
Yeah.
The meta is
I gotta
real.
look up-
The meta is real.
Yeah, I should have taken out something from the freezer. And I was like, it's 9:30 now. What time does my grocery store close? Because it's right next to me. Closes at 10. I'm not gonna make it in time. You know what? I don't like going to the grocery store that late because they already have all their freight out in the aisles. So I feel awkward going around it because they're getting ready to stock. Man, I guess I'm having cereal. I don't have any milk though.
Dude, I just drink. I eat my coffee with bleh. I eat
You
my
eat your
cereal
coffee?
with coffee, dude.
You eat your cereal with coffee?
Yep. Because
Man.
creamer doesn't go bad. Creamer milk doesn't go bad. So I just like, okay, I'll just put creamer in coffee, and then coffee and milk. I mean, coffee in cereal, and we're good. Milk goes
That's
bad in
crazy.
like a week, dude. I learned the meta.
Bro.
The meta
Oh.
is coffee instead.
I don't know if that's good for you, is it?
It's fine. I mean, you're gonna drink coffee in the morning anyways. Might as well just all in one. See,
I thought creamer was bad for inflammation.
I don't know, dude.
Could you feel it in your wrist?
You know what? I was feeling it a little bit today because, like, in order to play Magic on mouse and keyboard, you have to use a keyboard. I mean, your mouse. So, like, holding it here for a while does actually hurt. But, like, that's why every now and then I would actually, like, kind of, like, scoot my mouse up to, like, to mess with Blue Archive. Because it's like, okay, cool. It's not just resting solely on that spot. Because, yeah. I've been playing all my fighting games, all my video games, even shooters on controller, and like ever since I did that, like my hands don't hurt anymore. But like if I want to play like a shooting game on mouse and keyboard, after like 30 minutes, it starts to happen. And I'm just like, okay, I gotta get it off. It's coming back.
Yeah. You know, that could actually help you build a good habit. Every time you start feeling pain from playing games, that should be your signal. Like, okay, I should go outside. Just take a walk around the block and then come back.
Oh my.
Then
goodness.
you'll two birds, one stone. You don't like that idea at all.
Not at all, dude.
Like outside. No. Oh man. Well, I guess I'm having cereal. Are you gonna keep streaming? What do you got the rest of the night? Or are you just gonna go chill?
I'm gonna go back to Magic the Gathering and listening to music.
I'll be around. I'll be in chat.
Of course. I could teach you how
I'll
to
watch.
play Magic, you know?
Sweet. I'm gonna go grab cereal first.
All right, my man.
All right. Good podcast. That was a good one.
Goodbye, everybody. I'm gonna basically hit my ending call. Give myself some time to make a smoothie, and then I'll restart my stream again.
No athletic greens, right?
Actually, in my smoothies, and only in my smoothies, because I put kale, athletic green, fruits, ice, water, and then some flavor, some G Fuel, and then there we go.
Oh,
That's
God.
my smoothie.
Sounds like heartburn.
I mean, it does have scorpion in it, and like every time I smell the G Fuel for with scorpion in it is the only one that actually causes me to sneeze because it's a spicy one. So like my nose just smells the spice, and I'm just ugh.
You know, I just listened to a podcast that they had a sponsor that was Athletic Greens. I was like, oh man, it's the first time I ever heard of the sponsor actually being in a podcast.
You know, it's funny. I've actually looked at my email, and it was like, hey, do you want to be sponsored by HelloFresh? And I was like, I don't make enough viewers to quantify that.
You should have taken it for what? For the stream?
I mean, I
You
still
should have
get
taken
them.
it. Why not?
I still get them, and also I get another one. I got another one for like a refuel or some energy drink, but I was like, no, I'll just be like, hey, this is cool, but I don't get enough viewers.
Well, I mean, if they reached out to you, I know.
It was a mass email. Anybody that streams, they just reach out to. They don't.
Gotcha.
They don't physically reach out to you. They're just like,
It's whack.
yeah.
All right. I'll see you in the stream.
Peace.